This podcast is brought to you by High Dive. With the 2019 anime season just around the corner, be sure you are prepared with a subscription to High Dive. For just $5 per month, you won't miss out on any of the anime that are streaming exclusively on High Dive. But what's better, you'll also be supporting the anime industry. So let High Dive know we sent you by using the promo code AAAPodcast over at highdive.com, and you're going to get 50% off your first month of service. This podcast is also brought to you by JList. JList, did you know that JList is a great resource for import console games? JList now has all new games available in stock. They've got Root Letter Last Answer for PS4, Super Neptunia RPG for PS4, Onimusha for the Switch, Sendan Kagura Peach Ball for the Switch, Bullet Girls Fantasia, Utawareru Mono Zan for PS4, Street Fighter's 30th Anniversary Collection, and so much more. So go over to jlist.com right now or jbox.com and get some import console games to add to your gaming collection. And now, it's time to start the podcast.
来てくれてありがとう. You're listening to the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. Take your anime addiction to the next level at AAAPodcast.com/join. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Welcome, everybody, to the 435th episode of the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast.
Yeah.
The number just keeps on growing, and we're still here. I am your host,
It won't
Mitsugi.
stop.
You can't stop it. And that voice you just heard is the wonderful Enzo. Enzo is calling in from the very cold New York City, but he's wearing a hoodie, so he's so snuggled up. How are you, my brother?
I'm cozy. I'm very cozy. I'm happy. Been streaming a lot lately. Been talking to listeners while playing games. It's been good. Been good.
He's getting it.
Yeah.
And of course, hailing in from Cincinnati, we have the mother of ferrets, the most radiant podcast member that we have ever had. It's Mandy.
Hello! How's everyone?
And how are you, Mandy? We're doing good. Doing good.
Right.
Doing
Doing
good.
okay. Doing all
It's
right.
86 degrees in Florida. 86 degrees east to a shaded spot. Okay.
Oh,
And
It's still pretty cold here.
yeah, it's pretty cold in New York.
and all of you listening from around the world, thank you so much for tuning in. It's a pleasure to have you. Whatever you're doing, I hope you enjoy our podcast. You can find us at our website, AAAPodcast.com. If you go to AAAPodcast.com/join, you can get access to all of our extra content. We have our Hobby Addicts, where we just discussed what our most anticipated video games were for 2019. So you can get a list of all of those. It's definitely worth listening to. You can kind of get a rundown on what some of the hottest titles are that you should be looking forward to. We're also going to be doing a hentai episode after the podcast today, where we're going to kind of recap some of our most memorable hentai from 2018. We are at the end of the year, so it's kind of that time where you start talking about, best of the year, best of next year, or whatever. And of course, our after parties, where we discuss more of what we talk about on the regular podcast episodes, a little bit of spillover on topics and discussions. So you won't miss out on anything. If you head over there, head over to AAAPodcast.com/join. Help the podcast keep running, and you'll get tons of extra content. Also, our Discord is more populated than ever. It grows every week. It's bumping.
It's bumping. It's really bumping.
And thumping. You can head over there, and we've got Mandy's Manga Club. We do we do watch parties. We have a huge community. Very few trolls, I would say, on there. So be sure to head over there.
Proud to say so.
Yeah, it's very nice. And of course, we're also on Facebook and Twitter, so you can check us out on there as well. Now that we're all settled in, I would like to say that we have a pretty good episode for you guys today. It's going to be badass as always. We're totally packed to the brim. We are going to be doing what are usually my favorite podcast episodes every year.
Same.
So I have like that warm feeling in my nips. I feel all happy.
Like something new's happening.
Yeah.
You could feel it. You could feel it in the air.
It's like opening a new present.
Yes.
And then being disappointed and returning. I'm just kidding.
Oh. Sneak peek to Mandy's mindset for today.
I'm just kidding.
It's a little bit nipply. It's a little bit nipply outside. And wait, what am I saying?
Nipply.
What am I saying? What am I saying? Nipple? Nipple? What am I saying?
You said
but there is a nip in the air.
It's very
isn't there?
nipply outside. It's very
nipply
hard.
outside.
That's right, but there is a nip in the air because we are doing the 2019 winter anime picks for the podcast. So strap yourself in, as Vegeta would say, because we're about to take you on a ride down anime lane, and it's going to be a giant. We're going to crash somewhere. I'm sure it'll be fantastic.
Yep, and after the crash, we're going to review how to not summon a demon lord.
Oh, shit!
Yeah, stick around for that one.
Yeah, how to not summon a demon lord. I watched the uncensored subtitled version, and
Oh shit!
I will say, you know what?
Oh my god!
That's about all I'll say.
I did not watch the uncensored. At least I don't think I did.
Oh, you missed out on the shocker.
Oh,
And that's about all.
Yes, the shocker.
And by that I
Yes.
mean 3 fingers, and that's about all I will say. And why before we roll?
Oh wait, no, I did see that. Never mind.
Oh well, I guess I'm not as special as I thought.
Damn.
All right, so stay tuned for all of that. But first, we have the big news of the week. Are we ready?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
おー、大ニュースです。It's time for big news of the week.
All right, so it's the end of the year, and so we're having all kinds of end of the year stuff from everyone. And
Yeah.
Crunchyroll has revealed their most watched anime worldwide for the year. They've broken it down into different regions. And I would like to see if you guys can guess what the top watched anime are per global region. They have North America, South America, Africa, the Middle East, Europe, Asia, and Oceania, which includes Australia, New Zealand, and others. So, just starting with North America, I'm going to tell you, I'll just say, this is not that hard. So, that's your clue. So, now, Mexico, the United States, and Canada all have the same most watched anime.
Okay.
What do you think that one is?
Oh,
I'm going to keep score. I'm going to keep score. It's going to be a game between the two of you.
For all of 2018?
That's right.
I think I have already heard what this one was because I feel like it's been buzzing around a lot. So I think I already know which one it is.
Okay,
Oh
well,
my
let's
God.
hear it then.
My brain is saying Darling in the Franxx, but I don't know.
Mandy?
Goblin Slayer.
You are both incorrect.
Oh.
The number one watched anime for North America and Central America was My Hero Academia.
Oh, god damn it. Oh my god. Oh, I have no idea what my brain did. My brain didn't even consider it at all.
For some reason, I thought that it was the most watched. Never mind.
Now, they also have Cuba, Jamaica, and some other countries. It looks like Cuba's most watched anime was One Piece.
Interesting.
And some of the other Caribbean islands have most watched animes were Black Clover, Boruto, Death March to the Parallel World Rhapsody. Those were the other ones that were represented.
Yeah, I as someone who's half Caribbean, like from the Dominican Republic, like shonen is so rampantly the most popular genre by so many exponential multiplication factors.
Ooh.
Like no
He's
other
getting
genre
fancy.
touches shonen at period in like the Caribbean, per my experience and my cousin's experience. But maybe things will change.
All right, so now we're going to do South America.
Okay.
And there are 3 total anime represented here, but one of them is by far more represented than the others. Okay, I will tell you that the countries that are not in line with the others are Papua New Guinea, and I think that's pretty much it. Maybe in Venezuela, and the Venezuela is in line. So that's pretty much it. Papua New Guinea is like everybody else seems to be on the same page. So I'm going to ask you again. What do you think the number one anime is for South America?
Gosh, it's hard. I'm having a hard time even remembering everything that's come out. It's.
I'm gonna go to Dragon Ball Super.
I'm gonna go with Sword Art Online.
Okay. So the answer is My Hero Academia.
Oh
Again.
my god.
And the countries that deviated from that were Ecuador. Ecuador watched more of Boruto. Papua New Guinea watched more of Black Clover, and for the most part, that was it. So,
I forgot about
Wow.
Black Clover.
I forgot that show existed entirely. Yeah.
moving on.
Moving on.
You both are terrible at this, by the way. You both
Oh
have
my
0.
god.
So should we just guess My Hero for everything now?
So,
I refuse.
Africa. There are 2 anime that vastly cover Africa. I would say I'm gonna admit that I don't have a super strong grasp of all the African countries, especially the ones in the middle of Africa. But I would say that 90% of the countries watched one of these 2 anime. So I'm gonna let you guess 2 of them, and this is worth a total of 2 points. And I'm gonna start with Mandy because she's the radiant one, and it's ladies first.
Oh, I have no idea.
Well, you can't do
I'm
worse
going
than
to
you've done
guess-
already.
I'm going to guess Boruto and Sword Art Online.
All right. She says Boruto
Oh,
and Sword Art Online. Enzo?
Wait, did you give a hint before? Just
I
now?
didn't. I have given
Did
no
you-
hints. No hints. I have given
Oh.
no hints. I'm not that nice.
I'm gonna stick to Dragon Ball Super.
I said there were 2 of them.
Okay, and I'm gonna put My Hero then.
Okay. The answers are Boruto
Oh!
Shit.
and Black Clover.
Oh shit.
Oh, Black Clover.
The vast majority of
Wow,
the
that's
country
so
wanted those 2. Now, so Mandy's clearly ahead with 1 point here. Out of 4, so I wouldn't get too excited. So now the Middle East has 3 anime that have dominated the Middle East. I would say that they're fairly evenly split 3 ways. So there's 3 of them, and I'm gonna let you guess 3 anime here. So Mandy, once again, as the winner of the last round, you get to go first this time. 3
All
anime,
right,
3
I'm
anime
seeing-
from the Middle East.
I am sensing a trend here. I'm gonna guess
Uh-huh.
Boruto, Darling in the Franxx, Black Clover.
Okay.
I will
and
guess.
Enzo.
I'm going full extrapolation here. Boruto, My Hero, and Black Clover.
Okay. The answer is Boruto,
Uh-huh.
Darling in the Franxx,
Oh my
Wait,
god.
what?
and Black Clover.
What the shit?
Wow.
Mandy sweeps it. Mandy
What the
sweeps the
fuck,
round.
Mandy?
What the fuck?
Mandy clicked the link. Mandy, you clicked the link.
No, I didn't.
Mandy, stop. Mandy.
Not even-
Mandy.
No.
Mandy,
What?
you clicked. Stop.
I did not even touch it. My cursor's not even on it. But yours or someone's is. Oh, it's Mitsuki's. Never mind.
So
Oh yeah. Oh,
Mandy-
yeah, right.
I
Mandy-
just knocked over a big stack of books.
Mandy now has 4 points to Enzo's 2 points.
Mm.
Okay, so
Mhm.
now Europe. We're almost at the end here. Europe.
Okay.
I'm just going to give you guys 2 guesses apiece. Mandy.
Europe?
You're right.
I've got. I think they have class. I think it's JoJo.
Okay, Jojo, and
And also because it took place in Italy. But, you know.
and one more.
Oh, there's 2 of them. My Hero.
Okay, there's actually
Yeah.
5, but I'm letting you pick 2.
Oh my gosh.
Enzo.
Okay, I'm going Darling in the Franxx and My Hero.
Okay, so the 5 answers that existed in Europe, by far the most watched, I would say, was Darling in the Franxx,
Good shit.
Oh.
Okay.
followed by Boruto and My Hero Academia, Black
Oh, and
Clover, and then the one anime I can't even find the country that it was most watched in. I can't find it. Literally, it's such a small piece of the map. Dragon Ball Super.
Wow.
how many points-
Man, you was stuck to your guns. You already got one.
I know. Wait, no, I got 2 of those, didn't I? Or no, you only allowed 2 guesses. Wait, did I tie Mandy? That's all I care about right now.
No, you're down by 1. You're behind by 1.
Why?
Uh,
Wait, but I had 2, and then I just got 2 there.
She was ahead by 2, and you caught up by 1. Calm down. I'm keeping score here. Pipe down, okay?
Okay.
All right. So you're down by 1. You're not out of the game
All right.
yet.
All right. Okay.
Now we have Europe. Europe, there are 2, and I'm going to give you 2 guesses each.
Wait.
Wait, didn't we just do
I'm
Europe?
sorry.
did
Sorry.
Europe.
This is Asia.
Gee, Mitsuki, please.
Sorry. This is Asia, and it covers a large portion of Asia. So
Yes, it
Oh,
does.
2
okay.
guesses apiece. Please be quick, Mandy.
Asia. Okay.
Dragon Ball Super and My Hero. I'm gonna guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Darling in the Franxx and Dragon Ball Super as well.
All right. So covering what I would say is 99% of Asia is Boruto.
Wow.
Oh.
And one country that I can see on the map has selected citrus
What
Whoa,
the wait.
one of these things is not like the other.
Wait.
And that country
What?
is South Korea.
What the?
So well done, South Korea.
Mm.
You are
Interesting.
awesome.
Interesting.
But, so you both struck out on that one.
Okay.
Now, the last one is Enzo down by 1. The last one is
Mm-hmm.
Oceania. And there's too many, there's a lot of countries here, so there's 8 total anime represented. So I'm only going to ask you for Australia.
Okay.
Because the rest, all the islands of Oceania all have something different.
Okay.
So, Mandy, what do you think is the anime for Australia?
My Hero.
And Enzo, what do you think?
Darling in the Franks.
The answer is My Hero Academia, which means that Mandy has won our impromptu game by 2 points. I'm sorry.
This game is stupid.
The other ones in this region were Black
It
Clover.
blew my mind. I just pulled shit out of my
This
ass.
game is
It was
dumb.
Like,
Okay.
holy shit.
This game doesn't count.
The other anime, probably in the order in which they were placed, were Black Clover, Boruto, and then the rest all tied pretty much. Megalobox, The Ancient Magus Bride, Cells at Work, Idolish 7, and The Ninja Girl and Samurai
Idol
Master.
7, yes.
But the bottom line here is that pretty much the world watches shonen and nothing else. So
Yeah, that's basically.
That's why I was
pretty
like,
much
I'm sensing a trend here.
virtually
What
no
shonen can I name right now?
shonen virtually dominated every region of the world except for South Korea, which picked citrus. So good job.
Oh, South Korea.
So-
Yeah.
I would note that Japan wasn't even placed on here because I don't believe Crunchyroll has rights in Japan. I'm guessing is why.
Mm.
So, all right. Was that fun?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was good.
All right,
Except
so,
the whole like losing part, you know.
So basically, well, you know what? You can't always win.
Says who, huh? Huh?
Says probability. And
Huh?
I mean, you're such a winner in life, and so you should be willing to give.
Should I
To
just
not always
as we say
win.
in New York, just take the L and chill and chill?
Mandy looks at this guy Enzo and she goes, "This guy Enzo wins an awful lot at life. I'm gonna show him some shit and humble his ass a little bit with some
Damn.
humble pie." And she served that shit up piping hot to you on this cold
Yeah, and I
day.
fucking devoured
And how did it
my guy.
taste? How did it taste?
Tasted fucking scrumptious.
And Mandy's obviously a good cook because it's scrumptious. Good job, Mandy.
Obviously.
All right, so
All right, should I move on to my thingamajig?
are you pumped up?
Oh yeah, I'm really stoked for this one actually.
All right. Well, then in that case, here we go.
Let's go.
皆さんおめでとうございます Join us in Enzo Senpai's Notice Me corner!
All right, brother,
All right.
take it away.
Yep. So this is Enzo Senpai's Notice Me Corner, where you guys write in and let us know about an achievement you've accomplished recently, or something you have in the works that you're working towards. And it's all just for the cause of us wanting to celebrate you guys, because you guys are the lifeblood of this podcast, and
That's right.
we just want to recognize. You know what I'm saying, put some respect on all your names. So this one comes from Musical Maiko. Musical Maiko, I see them in Discord all the time. So they say, after only being in culinary school for only about 10 weeks, I was of a caliber to be in consideration to be the team chef for the Shanghai Dragons Overwatch League team. But after making it to the final steps in the acceptance process, they decided not to get a team chef, to which I took the sadness of rejection, albeit after 2 days of wallowing in it, and turned that into fuel for moving forward, which, as of right now, I've contacted 10 other Overwatch League teams about the team chef position. I'm currently awaiting a reply from 8 of them and in high contention for the position with Boston Uprising. I couldn't think of really how to say all this stuff as a turnaround story, but I didn't think I should delve too much into my hellish life before the age of 20. But thank you for always being the perfect cooking partner. Oh, dude, well, that's really sweet of you to say at the end there. I think this was really cool because I am an avid watcher of the Overwatch League. I am a huge New York Excelsior fan. So it was cool that you're like, you're so in direct contact with these teams. And I mean, like, let's be real, my God, you don't want to work for the Shanghai Dragons. Like, they literally went 0-40.
Oh my God!
All right, they went 0-40.
They're the
That's
new,
like-
they're the
0-40
Cleveland
right
Browns of esports.
Yeah. They got fucked, and it sucks because they had Geguri, which is like she's the first pro female Overwatch player, and she is like the world's most renowned Zarya player, and like her talent was just put to waste on that team. Fuck. Anyway, Boston Uprising would be cool because then you'd be a rival to me, which is nice. So
right.
congratulations on being in the uprising and being congratulations on being considered for these positions, dude. I hope it works out, and if it does, I'm coming over to meet the pros.
You should come. you should come and cook us like some food and be on the podcast.
Yeah, why not be
our
the AA podcast team chef, huh?
Yeah,
What about
And
that?
play games with us.
Hey, what about that?
We can pay you in wooden nickels and stumps of asparagus and love.
Yeah.
Well, I'll snuggle the shit out of you. I mean, I tell you that right now. And trust me, I am a damn good snuggler. I could probably do a master class in snuggling. They should offer a major for snuggling at most major universities, and I could teach at all of them.
Yeah, Peter Wright in the YouTube chat says, "Wait, Overwatch teams employ cooks, dude. Esports is huge, bro.
Yeah, all esports do.
Yeah, all esports teams at this point have like physical trainers, like mental trainers for like healthy lifestyles. They all like work out. They all get cooks for a healthy, balanced diet. Because dude, pro gamers sit and practice for like 10 hours a day. So like
Not only that, but you need a lot of fuel to use your brain.
Totally, you need a lot of food to use your brain. And when you don't have a cook cooking for you, it's easy just to order shit food to yourselves, and that's where your health goes down the drain.
Healthy body, healthy mind, baby.
Yeah, healthy body, healthy mind, fucking clicking heads, baby.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, congratulations,
man.
and thanks for writing in. And if you please submit, we have plenty, but I don't want to ever run out. So please submit more of your amazing life achievements to the podcast via the mailbag button on the website, and we will be sure to honor you as best we can here on the podcast. So before we head to a news break, we have our trivia. The trivia answer this week is the first of our round of anime pompadours. Which I mean, who doesn't love an anime pompadour?
No one.
The first answer was Fairy Tale, and the winner for the week, Crom ADR. So congratulations, you are entered into our drawing to win probably a brand new Ferrari.
Nice.
And
Enzo Ferrari, you could say.
That's right.
Mm.
Yeah. And
Who's the character in Fairy Tale with a pompadour?
I don't remember exactly,
I'm
but
looking
I can look up. The photo's already changed, but I can find the photo and send it to you later. Sorry. So head over to the website and jump in on the next round of trivia.
Sugar Boy. Interesting. Okay, I guess I didn't get that far.
I don't actually know who Sugar Boy is, but anyway. So we do have an intro trivia question. Who wants to handle that?
I got it. Oh, yeah, I got it. So I don't know why.
I got it. Wait, I do got it.
As always, we're gonna go on a break, and so the news break. And while you listen to the news break, you can think about this question: in the anime, how to not summon a demon lord? What piece of jewelry gives Diablo the ability to reflect magic?
And when we get back, we'll have the answer to that, and we're gonna have Mandy's manga minute, and we're also gonna have our winter 2019 anime selections, which is a huge deal. So don't go anywhere, or you're just not gonna know what's coming out next season, and you'll be sad.
Man, I just word vomited all that shit. Damn.
Nice job.
Yep.
And go brush your teeth.
Okay.
Hey, all you crazy anime addicts out there, Mitsuki's here, and it's time for your first shot of that sweet anime news. Leading us off, we're getting into the specifics about sexual education in Japan. We all know that Japan has had some problems with their birth rate and also the sexual education system in the country. And it looks like a survey done recently by the Nippon Foundation, which is a think tank in Japan, says that nearly 40% of teenagers surveyed believe that sexual education in Japan's schools is useless. It looks like 3 out of 4 people on the survey were concerned about sexually transmitted diseases, but the primary concern of dissatisfaction is that there is a lack of specifics taught in schools by Japanese teachers, saying that they're way too vague in what they teach in schools and aren't very specific enough. It looks like about 55.8% of kids say that they learn about sex through websites, where about half of them say that they learn from their friends. Not very many people actually learning from the schools and the teachers. So there's also lots of other details about this survey. You can find it on the Japan Times. However, it looks like the sexual education system in Japan continues to be quote-unquote useless, and it's being noticed by many, including those taking the classes. Next up, the author of Shoujo Shumatsu Ryoko is creating a new work. It looks like they are writing a new story titled Shimeji Simulation, which is going to be a 4-koma that will center on the, quote, poetic and surreal, heartwarming everyday life. The first chapter is going to be debuting in Comic Cure's March 2019 issue, which will ship on January 26th. Of course, Shoujo Shumatsu Ryoko was an anime that broadcast in the fall of 2017. It's definitely sort of an interesting, surreal anime. And if you're a fan of that property, you can look out for a new manga coming out by the same creator in January. Next up, another manga is getting an anime adaptation. It looks like Yasutaka Fujimi and Red Ice's survival horror manga Kyochu Reto, or The Island of Giant Insects, is getting an anime adaptation. So the synopsis: after an airplane crash during a school trip, Oribe Mutsumi and her classmates were stranded on a seemingly deserted island. However, she finds the other survivors and used her wilderness knowledge to help them. She expects that they will be rescued in about 3 days, but doesn't seem so long to endure. However, she didn't account for the fact that the island is populated with gigantic killer insects. Her knowledge of butterflies, wasps, and more may be the only thing that will help any of her classmates survive and be rescued. That synopsis coming from Manga Helpers. Definitely a pretty interesting little premise there of survival horror, so something we don't get often in anime, so I'm going to be looking forward to that one when it comes out later on. Next up, a very well-known light novel called Copcraft Dragnet Mirage Reloaded. It's going to be getting an anime series that's going to be coming out next year sometime. The series is illustrated by Range Murata, which is a very noteworthy thing considering his fame. The light novel started back in 2009, and its 7th volume is going to be coming out in July next year. It's a cop action story. It takes place in a fictional city called San Teresa, which is home to both humans and beings from an alternate universe. Its main characters are human detective Kei Matoba and Tirana, a knight from that alternate universe. The author is Shoji Gato, and he's best known to Western anime fans as the creator of Full Metal Panic. So if you are a fan of Full Metal Panic, if you're a fan of Range Murata, this light novel series is going to turn some heads, I think, when it comes out next year. And with that concludes the news, and we'll be back in a minute, so don't go anywhere. Hey addicts, podcasting is hard. It takes a lot of work, dedication, time, and money to keep the show running the way we want for all of you wacky anime addicts out there.
But even more than all this, it helps to have support from you, the listeners, so we feel the love, but also so we can keep the lights on.
If you've been enjoying the podcast and want to support the show, you can head over to AAAPodcast.com/join or Patreon to throw us a couple of dollars.
A little bit goes a long way, and we'll reward you with our extra content. 8 additional episodes of After Parties, Hobby Addicts, and of course, hentai episodes per month.
With all this money, we can buy me a pizza.
We can make sure Mandy never runs out of manga.
I can finally buy that pompadour I've always wanted.
And I can dig the anime pit of hell just a little bit deeper. Help us stay in business, and we'll help your ear holes with tons of extra content to enjoy. Head over to AAAPodcast.com/join now to support the podcast. And thank you.
この番組は JList.com の提供でお送りします。
You know me? Of course!
So much food.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Hello.
I have polymorphed Kazuo into a cat. But good
As
news.
he should be.
Good news, Kazuo. No. Do not walk on my laptop.
I had a banana. And it was delicious, and I'm sated.
Oh, well, that's good. The good news for Kazuo is that he's polymorphed into a sexy Maine Coon,
Yeah.
who I don't think will stay on the table very long. We had an intro trivia question, and which one of you would like to read it?
I can do it.
Yes.
In the anime How to Not Summon a Demon Lord, what piece of jewelry does give Diablo the ability to reflect magic? And the answer is a magic ring. Magic ringu.
Lingo. Like the Beatles.
That's right. It's a ring that he gets from defeating one of the older demon lords from but you don't actually get to see that in the anime.
No. I was wondering. I was like, I don't remember this at all.
All right, so we also have Mandy's Manga Minute before we get into the main topic of the show. So I think we're just going to cruise right into that. Mandy, are you ready?
Yeah, I am ready.
And now, let's take a minute for the Manga Minute with Mandy.
Hey, this is Mandy's Manga Minute, where I take a minute to tell you about a manga and help you find something new to read. And this week, I am doing If It's For My Daughter, I'd Even Defeat a Demon Lord. If you're wondering, maybe she chose this because they're reviewing How to Not Summon a Demon Lord. Well, you'd be correct.
Coincidence.
So while on
I
a
think
job,
not.
Dale... This is not a coincidence, I guarantee it. While on a job, Dale, a young but accomplished adventurer, comes across a little demon girl all alone in the forest. Dale can't bear to leave her alone to die, so instead he takes her home. Demon or not, Latina is beyond adorable, and it is not long before he finds himself head over heels with being her guardian. Can Dale handle the trials and tribulations of childcare and being an adventurer? If It's For My Daughter, I'd Even Defeat a Demon Lord is a fantasy slice of life created by a team of 3 people. The art is by Hota, the story is by Chirolu, and the character designs are by K. Truffle. It is still publishing, but there are currently 2 volumes out in English. There's also a light novel out by the same name. I've only read the first volume of this book, and it moves extremely fast. But it was still a cute read. I felt the moment from him finding an orphan girl to immediately becoming her father progresses too quickly. It kind of lost me. I would have liked a bit more of a progression of events to make it feel more natural. But the first volume did remind me a tiny bit of Sweetness and Lightning, like a little girl who's learning alongside her father figure, and all the townspeople are helping the 2 out. It takes place in a fantasy world, so her father, so the majority of the first volume is them staying inside of an inn, and Latina learning how to cook, speak the human language, read and write. And if the rest of the series were like this, I would recommend it. I do get I get some weird hints that there might be a possible uncomfortable story progression, because apparently demons grow much faster than humans. From where she is from the beginning to the end of volume 1, she's changed a lot. So I can't speak for the rest of the series, but the first volume was really adorable. And yeah, I mostly chose it because of the name.
Well, that makes sense. It's timely.
Yeah.
Cool.
I had a few other series that I was thinking about doing, because there's 2 series come out in winter that I've read mangas for, and they've been on my Manga Minute list. And then I saw this one, I was like, oh, I have to do it because of the name.
You gotta do it, yeah.
I have to.
All right, Mandy. Well, thank you once again for another rip-roaring edition of the Manga Minute.
Ooh, no problem.
Indeed. So, well, it's going to be... The new season starts in about a week from today.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think officially it's around January 5th is when the new season begins. And which means that this episode will come out right before that. So it's a great time to do this. We're going to be doing our picks for the season of Winter 2019. And I want to start off by saying that I don't know if we've ever had such a difficult battle over the anime this time. And by that, and by that I mean, the way we do our picks is we each rank 15 shows from each season. So there's theoretically 60 total shows. And then we basically roll dice to see who picks first, and we go round robin, and we kind of just pick off the top of our list and go all the way down the board. Well, we only do 15 picks, but I don't know that ever before have we had someone go all the way to their 15th and someone to go all the way to their 14th picks.
Yeah, dude.
Which means
I didn't even get a backup because I had to go all the way down to the very bottom.
same.
Yeah.
I didn't get a backup either, dude.
I rolled terrible.
It just means that we all wanted the same stuff. But I think that because of that, I'm hoping that there's a handful of shows from this season that are really exceptional. So I can't claim to have an extensive knowledge of the anime that are coming out this season at this point, but I feel like the winter season is normally sort of the rest period for the studios following the fall season. But this time around, there are at least a handful of shows that I feel like have a really good shot of being quite good. So we're going to get to some of those. I don't know who. I'm just going to go first, and we can go left or right on the document here. I'll cover Kazuo's stuff until we get to the ones that, Mandy, you said you knew about a lot because...
I know 2 of them.
Okay, so my first pick, I had to go all the way to my 12th down the board, which is pretty far, is Egao no Daika is the first one I've got here. And Egao no Daika is an anime by Tatsunoko Productions. It's done by director Toshimasa Suzuki, who has also directed Rin no Lagrange, which... I remember the name because I remember thinking it was impossible to pronounce, but I haven't watched that. And also Heroic Age. So that's those are the properties that he's known for. I couldn't really find much source material for this. I'm not sure there is any. So, I could be wrong, but that's pretty much, I couldn't find anything. The story is that on a planet far from Earth, there is a kingdom full of smiling faces. Princess Yuki is 12 years old and about to enter a sensitive age in a person's life. Every day, she cries, laughs, and sometimes her heart throbs with excitement. All the while, she lives merrily in the royal palace. Filling her days are her loyal vassals, her tutor Reina, Izana, who assists in political affairs, the leader of the chivalry Harold, and then there is her childhood friend and aide Joshua. Stella is 17 years old, so there's another person now. So Stella is 17 years old, and a capable reserve soldier. However, she is always smiling, for smiling is essential to living. This is a story of 2 girls born on distant planets. So, yeah, it seemed interesting. It has like a sci-fi feel to it. I like sci-fi. I don't know much about the show. I think it's original. So the English, I think the English title is The Cost of Smiles, The Price of Smiles, which, by the way, is the same thing twice. Maybe that's just 2 different titles. So The Cost of Smiles, I guess, is maybe the English title. So I'm kind of looking forward to this. I don't know much about it, but I'm hoping that it's going to be good. So,
yeah. Do you want me to go next so you can take a break? But since you just did that.
Oh, I wanted to note. I did watch the trailer. It looked interesting. It has a lot of mecha in it. This is definitely a mecha anime. The mecha didn't look super terrible. Sometimes mecha, I look at them and they're like in terrible CG. I didn't really feel that way with this. I didn't think it was like Gundam amazingness. It's not exactly like Sunrise level mecha here, but it is a mecha anime. There's tons of mech stuff in it, and I liked the music, so I didn't want to leave that out. Those are my notes from the trailer. I'm gonna do Kazuo's until we get to one that that one of you guys knows a specific large amount about. Kazuo did write some notes here. His first pick is Goto Bun no Hanayome, and I want to note that Kazuo is spoiled because he only had to go down to his 7th pick, which means he nearly got everything he wanted. But he did roll a nat 20.
He got his first top 3 picks.
I know, which is wild.
He rolled a nat 20, so he kind of deserves it, I guess. But so this anime again, it's called Goto Bun no Hanayome by Tezuka Productions, directed by Satoshi Kuwahara, a high school romance comedy with 5 times the cute girls. A high school boy must work part-time to help 5 sisters study so they can graduate, but the only thing that these quintuplets have in common is that they all hate studying. 5 girls who wanted to do anything but study, and their tutor, a high school boy who's got book smarts and not much else. Futaro Uesugi took the tutoring gig because he was desperate for cash, but when his students, the 5 beautiful daughters of a wealthy businessman, find 5 times the excuses to slack off, what is he supposed to do? At this rate, the sisters won't graduate, so if he wants to get paid, Futaro must think of a plan to suit each of them, which feels hopeless when 5 out of 5 of them think he's a loser. That's a super funny synopsis, I gotta say.
That is a
I'm
funny
watching
synopsis.
the TV right now. These girls are really cute. Like, I really like the art.
Assuming it doesn't turn into a harem, which Lord knows, it certainly sounds like it.
I think it's like the first genre that's listed.
Oh yeah, harem. Okay.
Yeah.
That's not that shocking. I think just the fact that it's a guy with 5 girls means it's like automatically a harem. But like, if the anime is even remotely as cute as that summary, like, good way to go, Kodansha Comics, for that synopsis. That was nice. So I love it.
Kodansha has good shit.
They think he's a loser. I think that's funny as hell. So that's Kazuo's worst pick. So he's doing okay. I mean, it sounds funny and cute. I feel like that could either be like a really just ecchi cliche of a mess, or it could be like one of those shows where people are talking about it because it just like warms your heart and surprises you. So we'll have to find out. All right. I think Enzo's up.
Yep.
Oh! I thought I misunderstood. I thought you were doing all of them until we got to one that we can talk about.
Broski,
But
that's not how it works.
I know. That's why I was shook. I was shook when you said. I was like, oh, okay, we're breaking the format then.
No
But,
need to be shook.
yeah, never mind. The shooketh is gone. My first anime I'm going to talk about was my 14th pick. I had to go deep. It's Circlet Princess, and the only reason I put it on my top 15, obviously, is near the bottom of it, is because it has a sci-fi element, and the studio Silverlink, which I just know did Tanaka-kun, so I just put it on there solely based on those two things. But the synopsis per my anime list is: people's lives have changed because of VR and AR, and a competitive sport has been born from these technologies called CB, Circle Beat. CB can be competed between 2 schools and became an esport that decides the wealth of the schools. It also became the real ability of the school, which depends on not just the students' academic skills, but also on the data based on the sport ability, art, skills, etc. That was horrendously written. I was editing that as I was reading that, but basically, it's a PvP type VR AR game. The cast is all like pretty much like cute girls. I unfortunately can already tell it's gonna be a lot of like fan servicey moments based on the previews and the uniforms that they wear in this game. Because obviously it makes sense to wear as little clothing as possible to battle. But the animation and art is pretty like it meets standard, I think, and like I said, Silverlink has a lot of good shit under it, like Tanaka-kun and Kokoro Connect. So it's on there, and it does give me the sci-fi itch. So I will have to see how that goes. I can't lie and tell you I'm like looking forward to watching it. I wasn't planning on watching the show, but for you, I will. So stay tuned.
Yeah,
for
I'm
that
looking
one.
at it. It looks interesting. I must have just, I don't know. See, I have a really shitty way of picking these shows, so I'm not the best picker, I'll say. So
Okay.
Well, my first one looks terrible.
Oh, is this one nice?
well, in fairness, this one wasn't even on your list originally, so it's
It
so
wasn't.
far down the list.
Yeah, I had to go all the way to my very bottom of my list. The one that I originally had there, I did not even think I was going to end up getting. And I was like, this doesn't even really look like an anime, so I switched it out. The original one was Dimension High, which is the one that we covered in a news topic, and that's the only reason I put it on my list.
Mhm.
And it was the one with the live action actors, and they go into an anime world, but when I watched the PV, I was like, this isn't anime. This is like really, really horrible CG. So I was like,
wow.
Can I swap this?
Oh, that's so disappointing.
I swapped it out for WZ or Wiz.
Was this?
God, they didn't-
I spent a whole 2 minutes on this. Like, was Dubs?
Wizzes?
Man, it's like they didn't even try to name it. The guy that was typing in the name on like their spreadsheet fell asleep on the keyboard, and that was like how they got the name.
Wiz. Anyways, Yukiya, who is quote unquote probably 14 years old, spends his time DJing alone. Due to his father's influence, he's listened to his house music since he was young, and he uploads videos online. He wants to convey something to someone. He wants to be recognized and become important. But getting hurt is scary. One day, while trying to get more views, he does something that can't be undone, and he sees a live broadcast from that world, quote unquote, that world. I don't know what that means. But now Yukiya believes he can't do anything alone, but that he could accomplish something if he were doing it together with someone else. There's no director listed. That's a bad sign. The studio No Hands, who did Handshakers.
Nice, dude. Yes.
So I have no expectations for this one. I chose it just because everything else was taken. Yeah, I had some decent seiyuu listed, Eguchi Takuya and Daisuke Namikawa. But the PV looks like it might have some decent action scenes in it. There's a shot that I liked with the guy playing his turntables. But oof, I have zero hope for it. Maybe.
Damn.
I'm hoping I'm pleasantly surprised. That'd be nice.
Rough. No expectations at all. But you know what? This is the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. So
Yes, we can call the anime Wiz.
Wiz.
Wiz. I'm sure
It's
that's
gonna whiz on our love for anime.
that's probably
Maybe that is how you pronounce it.
that's
Maybe.
probably exactly how people will end up pronouncing it. So,
Wiz.
all right. So my next anime on the list here is called Grimm's Notes, the animation.
Yes.
Grimm's Notes, the animation is done by Studio Brains Base, which has been around for a long time. They've done a lot of stuff. They're a pretty well-known studio, very well established. The director is Seiki Sugawara, who directed Defrag. So another anime that I haven't watched, but at least he's directed some stuff. It's based on a Square Enix RPG video game that was made for mobile phones. So I've noticed that Square Enix is sort of doing the same thing that Cygames does, and that's that they, they're getting anime editions of their mobile games made into anime properties. So this is one of those. From my anime list, the game takes place in a world created by beings known as storytellers. At birth, all inhabitants of this world are bestowed with a, quote, book of fate where all their lives are written in advance. However, rogue storytellers, known as chaos tellers, are writing bad events into people's books without them knowing. It is up to the holders of blank books of fate to seek out the chaos tellers and restore the world. So, I watched the PV. I've seen it a few times now. It is about as much as anything can be a fantasy-looking show. There's, I'm watching a girl right now. She's transforming into like a wizard, I guess. She's basically a magical girl, but I'm sure her character class is supposed to be a wizard of some kind. There's guys with guns. There's somebody that has a pike. So it very much feels like a sort of fantasy fairy tale-esque story. I think it's going to be about these characters tromping around this world, trying to undo the damage that's been done by these chaos tellers. Definitely a big time hit for people that have played the game. I'm guessing. I'm sure that if you've played this video game, you're probably really looking forward to it coming out. It's called Grimm's Notes again, that's my next pick. I had to go again pretty far down, all the way to 11 to get this one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're digging deep here. Kazuo's next pick, he only had to go to 6 to get this, and
Ridiculous. This is nonsense.
and well, yeah, I mean, this next one looks pretty good, I would say. Watching the PV, it's probably going to be a decent show. It's called Revisions, and Revisions is done by Studio Shirogumi, which I have no idea what they've done. That sounds
sounds new to me as well.
They've done a handful of things here. Let me see if they've done anything that's not like lots of like kids stuff.
They did Nyanbo. They did like a little kid show.
They did Moyashimon. Oh no, that's Moyashimon is one thing that they've done.
Oh, they did Urahara, which
Urahara,
was
yep.
Yeah, a few seasons ago, I think. Maybe earlier last year.
So the director is Goro Taniguchi. This is a prophecy. So this is from some website. Quote, "This is a prophecy for you, where 5 people will meet huge adversaries, and only you can protect everyone." End quote. Daisuke Tojima is a second-year high school student who was abducted when he was young. He was involved in a special phenomenon, the Shibuya Drift, with his childhood friends Guy, Ryu, Mari, and Keisaku. They are transferred to the center of Shibuya over 300 years in the future. What's waiting for them is endless wilderness and forest, interspersed ruin, future citizens, and, quote, revisions, which are huge mechanical monsters. Trampled by the monsters without understanding the situation, a girl who has the same name as the person who saved Daisuke when he was abducted, Miro, provided a mobile suit string puppet and told them to save Shibuya. With separated paths, adversaries, destined prophecies, the boys and girls are on their way to return to their original time. So it smells like a fantasy, like a sci-fi time travel show with some mechs, and it's got staff that worked on Psychopaths, Wake Up Girls are involved on this, and it looks really nice. Like I'm watching the trailer right now, and it's short. It's a short trailer, but like the animation looks exceptional, and the backgrounds look nice.
So
you watching the teaser or the PV? The PV shows a bit more.
I'm watching the teaser.
It looks like the whole thing is CG.
I almost picked this, but like I almost put this higher on my list, but I don't know, something about the synopsis didn't work for me. I just felt like time travel is so touchy for me. Like time travel is one of my favorite things to tackle in literature and animation, but this one sounded like they're gonna waste that potential to me. I don't know why, just the way it was written or the way, and then I didn't like the way it looked that much, so I just didn't pick it. But I'm glad that someone does have it because I will be watching these first 3 episodes with Kazuo.
It's interesting. The action scenes look really good with the CG, but I think some of the standing around scenes, it kind of, I don't know, looks a little bit jarring.
yeah.
But we'll find out. We'll see.
We'll find out, yeah.
All right.
And
one more time, that one's called Revisions. Okay. Yep. You're up, Enzi.
Yeah. So my second pick, which was my number 12, is Koya no Kotobuki Hikotai. Koya no Kotobuki Hikotai. And this one.
Say that again.
Koya no Kotobuki Hikotai. Yeah. But I picked this one because I tend to watch a lot of the PVs as well. So like that's kind of the first thing I do. I scan for art that I like key visuals that I like, and then I watch PVs, and then I get deeper and deeper from there. So this PV, the animation is CG, which I didn't like, but for some reason I felt really cozy watching it. And then I looked into the show a bit more. So here's a synopsis before I say any more. So synopsis: in a barren frontier where people trade goods with each other in order to help each other survive, the Kotobuki Squadron are bodyguards for hire, led by a strict but beautiful squadron leader, an unreliable commanding officer, and a true artisan of a crew chief. Alongside pilots who don't lack for personality, they take to the air in dogfights, letting the engine noise of their Hayabusa fighters ring out in the skies. So, a synopsis like that can win me over when it comes to the PV being CG, because this sounds like a good character setup. It sounds like a group of women that are gonna have personalities that can bounce off each other. And furthermore, the PV, I can't read kanji, but in the PV, in the credits, Shiro Bako, it was written in English. So I was like, I wonder. So I looked into it, and the staff for this show, one of the directors, it's Tsutomu Mizushima, who did do some directing work on Shiro Bako.
Is this the anime they were working on in Shiro Bako?
Oh, shit. Is it? No?
I can't remember what it was, but it was about playing girls.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna have to look into that. I didn't think that deep. Holy fuck! I forgot I completely forgot the theme of the show they were working on in Shiro Bako. But, but yeah. So that gives me confidence because Shiro Bako is amazing for a lot of reasons. But one of the reasons to me why I love that show so much is just the character setups and all that in that show. Just how everyone interacts with each other and how it's so organic that you feel like you're working there. So in that anime studio. So that gave me a bit of hope. So I'm surprised I got it because I put it so low on my list. There were other shows I wanted more than this one, but I'm content with this one because I feel like the animation will be like everything else, but the animation may carry it for me. So I'm ready.
Have you prepared your body?
My body's prepared. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Mandy, you're up.
So yeah, I went down. My next one is my number 11th, which is pretty low, but I'm actually pretty excited about this one. I put it down low because I wasn't expecting to get it, but I'm excited, and that's Kakegurui Season 2. Director and studio are the same. Director is Yuichiro Hayashi in Studio Mappa. Yeah, I thought the first season was all right. I think I would have enjoyed a lot more if they took out all the scenes with the gun girl because she was insane, like a bit too crazy for me. But yeah, I didn't see any sight of her in this PV, so hopefully she is not in this season as much. Maybe I'll enjoy it a lot more.
Nope.
I love the juxtaposition of cute girls contorting their faces and like really hideous expressions.
I remember you made me watch the first couple episodes with you because
hell yeah, and I loved it.
Yeah.
This PV looks like it might have a new student council. I know at the very last episode of the first season they disbanded the student council, so I'm interested in seeing what happens. But the stakes definitely look like they've been risen a lot. There's a scene where it looks like two girls are putting their index fingers inside of a box that has a guillotine hovering over it, and they have to gamble by cutting strings, now knowing which string would like release the blade. So yeah, I haven't read this far in the manga. I only read like I think half of season 1 in the manga, but so I don't know what's happening. But I'm excited because more crazy girls and Jibame is queen.
Crazy girls, queen.
I'm excited.
Queen.
Okay, cool. All right, so my next pick, I had to go down to number 8 for this one. So I'm still not doing very well. And that is Mohou Shoujo Tokushusen Asuka, which let me see if there's a translation here. Magical Girl Spec Ops Asuka. So the studio is Studio Linden Films, which I mean they've done enough stuff. We ought to know who they are by now. Linden Films has worked on such titles as Arslan Senki, The New Berserk, Koi to Uso, 11 Lies, Terra for Mars, Hanebado, Senyu, Killing Bites, etc., etc. There's a lot of stuff, right? They've done a lot of things. So the director is Hideo Yamamoto, who worked on Strike the Blood and Code Realize. So it's based on a manga that has been running since the middle of 2015. So there's going to be some material for it. From the synopsis from Mao, due to the invasion of Dices, enigmatic creatures of soil from the land of the dead, mankind, who was on the verge of crisis, was saved by the efforts of magical girls who had obtained a mysterious magical power. 3 years later, new incidents suddenly occur, tearing apart the normalcy of the girls who had each returned to their normal lives. The saviors of humanity, those magical girls called the Magical Five, now live each day fighting for their lives even as they are trifled with by fate. So I watched the trailer. I've seen this trailer a few times, and I just don't know what to make of it, really. It's definitely going to have a lot of action in it. There's magical girls, of course. It looks a little violent. There's some scenes where the magical girls are like splitting people, like cutting people open and stuff, and there's some blood. They're fighting all kinds of stuff. Like they're fighting humans, they're fighting giant monsters. I mean, I'm not really sure exactly what's going on. The animation looked, I would say, like not inspiring, not super good, maybe average, maybe a little below average. The character models though looked particularly unappealing, I would say. I don't like how they do the eyes in this anime. They look really odd. Like they're not. They don't. The way they draw the eyes don't make the characters look attractive the way I'm used to. So I don't know. That's really like, I don't know, very like surface level, I guess. But, and that's pretty much all I took from it. And it just seems like exactly what the synopsis said. I think if you're into like magical girl shows where girls fight monsters, you might like this. That's pretty much all I got for you. Kazuo's next pick. Let's see how spoiled he got. Oh, his next one is his third choice, which means he got all of his top 3. That must be nice. So it is called Manania Friends.
Manania.
This is another anime done by Psy Games, which you'll recall is like Rage of Bahamut. They've been pumping a boatload of anime into their shows. So like you'll recall Rage of Bahamut looked great, right? It looks super good.
It did.
Well, I just watched the trailer from Manania Friends a moment ago, and it also looks like really good. Like it looks gorgeous.
Yeah, I was interested in this one for sure. So
the director is Hideki Okamoto, who has worked on. What has he directed? He directed. Not a lot. A lot of episode directing. Maybe nothing else. Nana to Kaoru. I haven't seen that. Sengoku Otome. So he hasn't done a lot of stuff. So the note here says that Mysteria Academy is a prestigious magic school that teaches magic without discrimination to the three factions, men, gods, and demons, who usually are engaged in battle with each other. Two of the Academy's students are Anne, a princess, an honor student, Greya, a princess born of a dragon and a human. And that's all it says. So, yeah, so like looking at the trailer, I wouldn't even have guessed that there's any battling in it because the whole trailer is just them like laying around and walking around and crying. And there are a couple questionable camera angles in the trailer, just so you know. There's a couple of like the bottom part of a girl's ass, like where her skirt is, you know. So I was like, oh, okay, well, yeah. It's like usually when you see like some questionable camera angles in the trailer, you kind of wonder if it's gonna have a lot of that in the show. It doesn't have like ecchi or anything in the themes, and Rage of Bahamut wasn't like an ecchi show, so I don't know. My experience with Psy games doesn't tell me that it's a super like company that makes lots of ecchi games. I don't really feel like that's how they operate. So I'm not really going to say that's how this one is. It's just something I noticed from the trailer. I think that people who remember Psy games from Rage of Bahamut are probably going to watch this show. And it looks like it's on the upper end of like anime being tagged by people for watching. So Manania Friends, I don't have any idea if it's going to be a show where girls just lay around and do nothing, or it's going to be like an action show. I just don't know. So we'll have to look out for that one when it comes out.
Yeah. I mean, plot-wise, it sounds like there's space for conflict and drama there. But, yeah, we'll see.
This one may even be related to a Rage of Bahamut because under the secondary titles, it says Rage of Bahamut, Manania Friends.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
So this one...
Well, I guess this world could fit in that world.
Well, there's definitely a girl with like with dragon wings. There's a girl with like a demon tail. So it makes sense. Like there are girls with wings and tails, dragon. There's definitely demon girls and dragon girls and all kinds of stuff like that in Rage of Bahamut. So without saying so for certain, this one's perhaps in the same universe as the others. So people that like Rage of Bahamut should probably look into this one more. And again, it's called Manania Friends. Or Monaria. My bad. Monaria.
Yeah. Manaria.
Whatever.
Yeah. So I guess I'm up now, and this one, I wasn't expecting to get down to
you got hammered bad. You and Mandy both.
But there is one point that I felt and even Mandy felt that makes this one a little interesting, like a little bit interesting enough to put it as my number 9. And I have domestic na Kanojo. And the synopsis on Mal is pretty long, but basically it's a love triangle ecchi type show where the main character, whose name is Natsuo Fuji, he is in love with his teacher. And that's one side of this triangle. And then the other side of this triangle is he meets this girl. This girl's name is Rui. And Rui's interesting. And she's very straightforward, apparently, because part of the synopsis is that Rui straightforwardly asks Natsuo to have sex with her. And they do, apparently.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
so in the synopsis, it says they do. And it's totally casual, that she just wanted to, practice or whatever. And so then comes the anime fucking, dumb part of this, is that Natsuo Fuji's stepfather remarries.
Okay.
Who do you think are the daughters of his wife?
The daughter. Wait, what?
Who do you think in this remarriage are the daughters of his father's new wife?
Isn't it just one daughter?
Is he remarrying the sister?
No.
Just tell me I can't stand it.
Wait, hang on.
I can't stand this.
Pair of stepsisters. You're right. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. So, who do you think are the two stepsisters he gets?
I have no idea.
In his remarriage. Huh?
I don't know.
It's the girl he has sex with, and that girl's older sister is the teacher that he loves. So now they're all stepbrothers and sisters.
That's very complicated.
and that's the love triangle that this show revolves around. Which this is usually a plot that I would literally not even look at because I'm over this kind of stuff. But it kind of is interesting that this one's tackling sex so straightforwardly, which you don't see
I mean,
very often.
that you think.
Well, yeah, like if it doesn't go past this and like whatever, I just won't pass the show. But I want to see how that dialogue around that scene happens. So
there is a manga out for, and I was reading reviews for the manga before. I also had it on my list. And it seems like a lot of people actually really like the story. It feels more like a shoujo. So
well, that's cool.
We'll find out.
If it's more shoujo, then I'm in. I love shoujo, and I haven't seen a shoujo in a long time. The genres on the mouse say drama, romance, school, shonen.
Yeah.
Usually drama, romance, school is a check for me, but then you add shonen in there, and it just becomes a boys' fantasy type shit.
Yeah.
And that's where it kind of loses me. But
we'll find out.
We'll find out. We'll find out.
People on Mal tend to rate manga extremely like too positive, I think. Like it's so weird. Like I'll see something that for an anime has like really low score, but the manga, which has basically the exact same story, will be like really high. I don't know. We'll find out.
Interesting. But yeah, we'll see. I'm not, again, like my expectations are not super high for this one. I have more high expectations for Koya, the Shirobako related one, but we'll see. We'll see.
Alrighty. Okay. My next one, which is my number. Oh, wait. Why does it go from 9 to 10? Weird. Or 9 to 11. Number 10 is gone. My next one is the Morose Mononokean season 2, which was also pretty far down my list. But I actually watched the first season and I thought it was kind of cute. It's by the same studio, Period Plus. I'm gonna assume the director's the same. It's not listed. The first one I didn't think was like super amazing, so that's why I didn't have this really high up on my list. It has a similar feel to Natsume with like a main character who could see yokai, and because of his acknowledgement of their existence, leads to him into getting a lot of incidents involving spirits. And then he meets Abeno, who is this Mononokean who helps spirits pass through a gate into the spirit realm. And where Natsume has like a very melancholy and bittersweetness to it, this one relies more on comedy. The colors remind me a lot of Hozuki. There are some episodes in the first season that I still remember pretty clearly because I enjoyed them so much. I loved all the episodes with little Kitsune Boy because he was adorable. And I saw him in the PV for season 2. So hopefully there's a lot more of him in it. I love the episode with the little dog spirit, and he's in the PV for season 2. All the Seiyu are the same. Yukikaji, Tomaki, Maino are the 2 main characters. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And I was thinking, like, regardless whether or not I had it, I was going to watch it anyways. So I'm excited.
Okay, cool. Well, we're getting towards the top now, guys. We're now in like the ones that we are really excited for.
Yeah.
Like the top 2 for each of us should be the ones that we're excited for. Except I don't really watch the trailers for the shows before I pick. I just read the synopses. And this one, this one is not a show I should have picked. I would say it probably has a 5% chance of passing just off watching the trailer. And that is a show called Kemuri Kusa, which is a science fiction action story who follows girls who fight weird entities named bugs and survive in a world of red fog. Which I read the synopsis and I'm like, oh, that sounds kind of interesting. Sure. They fight bugs, world of red fog, cool. However, the studio is Studio Yao Yorozu, who worked on Kemono Friends, and they haven't done a lot, okay? But Kemono Friends is like what I recognized on their list. The director is Tatsuki, who also directed Kemono Friends. And this is based on an ONA from 2012. There was an ONA for 2012. I don't know if it's an exact adaptation or a follow-up or whatever, but there is an ONA, like a web animation from 2012. And I would say it looks like a web animation because I watched the trailer for it, and there is almost no animation at all in the trailer at all. And this trailer is not even short. It's like a minute. And they spend good Lord, I don't even know what to say about this. There's a bunch of girls that all have red hair. They spend about 12 seconds in the trailer with one girl just like rubbing this cat girl's ears, where nothing else moved on the screen for the entire 12 seconds except her hand. So it's like you could argue that it's not even animated. I wrote on my notes that this is my penance for choosing after merely reading the synopsis. I barely finished even watching the trailer without losing my sanity. I don't know if I will even be able to watch 3 episodes of this. I literally may just send the acolytes of the Church of Mitsugi to go whoop some serious ass over at Studio Yao Yodozu, because I feel like they are all savages. They are all just blights on the face of humanity. They are a reason for, as they would say in How to Not Summon a Demon World, Yao Yodozu is a reason for the mortal races to not exist. And something must be done about this. I may have to do some serious Church of Mitsugi ass whooping when I do this impression.
Oh, shit. In before he comes back and loves it.
Yeah, in before he passes it just to spite everyone.
Kei Moody Kusa, I really think that like 5 high school kids could have animated this trailer in probably a weekend. That's how bad it was.
Jeez, dude. Holy shit.
That's how bad the trailer was. There's... but yet, my number 2.
That's your number 2, baby.
Yep, there it is.
Technically, it's your number 4.
Well, it's number 4, of course, yeah. But
right.
we can't all be Kazuo getting exactly what we
I
want.
know! I'm so salty over a lot of things. So salty.
This next pick, I think Mandy knows a lot more about it than I do. So I'm going to let her take over Kazuo's next pick, which, by the way, was his second pick, because he got everything he wanted for Christmas.
Because he's an a-hole. I'm just kidding.
He's an a-hole.
So what is it?
He got The Promised Neverland, which I did a manga minute on. And Promised Neverland is being adapted by Cloverworks, who did Bunny Girl Senpai, Persona 5 the animation.
Yay.
So they've done, I mean, not a whole lot, but they've done, a couple of really recent things. I think they also worked on Darling in the Franxx. It's being directed by Mamoru Kanbei. I'm trying to see what he has done. I wasn't really prepared for Cosmos. He worked on, he's the director for Elfen Lied. That's interesting.
Whoa,
well, that anime is a directorial mess. So.
The man has a vision, huh?
Was the director for Perfect Insider. He's listed on a lot of things, but not a ton of them as director. Kimi Toboku, he did. All right, so Promised Neverland is a shonen series, and it's about these orphans who are being taken care of by this being called, or this person they just call Mama, and they never really think of anything outside their little orphanage. They just sit there and they just study, they take tests, and usually they're all adopted by the age of 12. And so, life is very simple for them inside of this little orphanage. They don't really think outside of the box. And man, I hate, I'm not going to spoil anything. All I'm going to say is that world is not what you think it is. And, I guess it's in the synopsis, so I'll go ahead and just say that it turns out that the orphanage is raising them as food for demons.
Oh, yeah.
And
Smart snacks
I am 3.5 volumes in, and it is really exciting. I'm really enjoying it. It's dark. It is very, very high stakes involved. There's a lot of twists and turns. There are characters who are trying to play have mind games with the caretaker mama, trying to escape their fate, and it's really exciting. And I'm not going to spoil anything else outside that.
Lots of little kids.
I'm stoked for that one too, man. Like I obviously haven't read them. I haven't read the manga like Mandy, like Mandy, like Mandy has.
Man,
but,
you're like the second person who's done that.
Well, manga and Mandy at this point, my guy, is
That's
synonymous. True. You know what I'm saying? So I'm stoked on that one. That's a good plot because of what you said, Mandy. High stakes, and I hope it's consistent throughout the whole thing. So looking forward to it. Am I up?
It's gonna break your heart,
I'm up, right? Yeah, I'm sure.
And
my next pick. is so my number 2, which was technically my number 3, so I'm not too far down for this one, was Dororo. And I picked this one for a couple of reasons. I'll read the synopsis just to do that, because it is interesting from the synopsis. I think there's a lot of space here for like a good story. Here's a synopsis from my anime list. A samurai lord has bartered away his newborn son's newborn son's organs.
Battered away.
I know, he just fucking smashed his kid into pieces.
He's like, get out of here.
Get the fuck out of here. Heart. Boom. Anyway. Okay. A samurai lord has bartered away his newborn son's organs to 48 demons in exchange for dominance on the battlefield. Yet the abandoned infant survives thanks to a medicine man. A medicine man who equips him with primitive prosthetics, lethal ones with which the wronged son will use to hunt down the multitude of demons to reclaim his body one piece at a time, before confronting his father. On his journeys, the young hero encounters an orphan who claims to be the greatest thief in Japan. So, you could argue that this sounds like ridiculous, but I think there's good storytelling there between the guy, like the revenge guy, and the kid that he finds. I haven't seen a I'm fighting all you people to get my body parts back kind of story in forever. I feel like there's something out there that exists, but I can't think of the name right now.
Kizumonogatari.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's a couple other things I want to mention. Tezuka Productions and Mappa are the studios on this, and there's one anime that I know that's the combination for, and Kids on the Slope was by these two studios. Like, that was a collaboration they did for that anime, and I fucking love Kids on the Slope. And the director is Kazuhiro Furuhashi, and he's like 50-50 director, 50-50 storyboard artist, but he's done the storyboards for Genshiken, for Kimi ni Todoke, and a couple other ones I had here that my computer won't load, and for Mononoke. So like, this dude lays out a story. He can lay out a story. So I'm happy about that. So with all the space that synopsis has for a good story and good relationship and probably some heartbreaking moments, this guy lays out stories for a living and also directs. So I'm hoping that this one turns out well with the power of Mappa and Tezuka behind him. The PV is pretty okay. The PV, I don't think just marketing wise it was done well, but I hold out hope for this one. I'm excited to watch Dororo.
It's actually based off of a really, really old manga from the 60s that was also the author of Astro Boy.
Is this the manga you read recently in Manga Club? It just looks so
No, we did Lone Wolf and Child.
Okay. For some reason,
Which was nonsense. It was fantastic.
Yeah, when I saw his key visual, I was like, oh, this looks like it could be named that. But
no, I haven't read this one. I just know that it is a really old manga by the same person who did Astro Boy.
Well,
because it has kind of the same art style to it.
Yeah, even better then. So I'm stoked. I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah. So yeah, my second pick, which was actually my sixth, because I got effed.
Yeah, got effed.
I'm not complaining about this one though. I'm actually really excited, and it is Dokyonen wa Hiza Tokidoki Atama no Ue, and it is being adapted by Zero G, who did Grand Blue and Dive, so not fantastic animation. And the director is Kaoru Suzuki, who directed Dive. But the synopsis is novelist Subaru Mikazuki, who is shy and not good with other people, and Haru, the cat that has been living a severe stray life. This is a story of them suddenly living together and describes the happiness of living together from both their points of views. So my thoughts are, it's based on a web manga that I haven't read, but I've heard good things about. The animation in the PV doesn't look amazing; just looks like, like Grand Blue level. But I was mostly into it because the synopsis. I like the narration switches between the main guy and the cat. I actually put this on my plan to watch a long time ago, like months ago. because it actually got me really emotional because it was right after my cat passed away, who is also a stray cat, that I took in, and it reminded me a lot of that. And I was like, I have to watch this. So yeah, I'm excited to see about like a stray cat and its point of view, being grateful for the person who took them in. And yeah, it might, I don't know if it'll end up being very similar to She and Her Cat, but I'm interested. We'll find out.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you, Mandy.
Yeah.
Now, I will say we all got our number one choices.
Yeah, which is interesting, right?
Yeah, so we all got what we wanted initially, so that's good. And the anime that I picked is the one that came out a long time ago. It's part of my childhood.
Yeah.
I didn't understand anything. I understand very little about the original one of this. And that is the Boogie Pop.
What is hard to understand about reaching into people's chests and pulling out bugs and eating them?
Oh yeah.
Boogie Pop Phantom. Boogie Pop Phantom and others, which I don't know who the hell the others are. But
Yeah.
Boogie Pop, it's done by Studio Madhouse, which shouldn't need any introduction whatsoever. It's done by director Shingo Natsume, who directed, get this, One Punch Man,
Ooh.
and was a co-director on Space Dandy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you got some good people here working on this.
I'm in.
Of course, it's originally based. It was originally an anime from 2000. That was also done by Studio Madhouse and is based on the Boogie Pop light novel series by Kohei Kadono. There's an urban legend that tells of a Shinigami, which is a god of death, that can release people from the pain they are suffering from. This angel of death has a name, Boogie Pop, and the legends are true. Boogie Pop is real. When a rash of disappearances involving female students breaks out at Shinyo Academy, the police and faculty assume they have a bunch of runaways on their hands. Yet some students know better. Something mysterious and foul is afoot. Is it Boogie Pop or something even more sinister? So, it looks like the same Boogie Pop story that we watched years ago. I've watched the trailer. I've seen it like 10 times now. The animation looks exceptional, I would say. On the trailer,
baby.
It looks really good. There's a lot of there's some pretty neat fight scenes in the trailer. There's some scenes where people are walking around on like the street, and there's just tons of people walking all over the place. There's a lot of like good animation. I'm pretty convinced it's going to look nice. It looks like it looks a lot better than it did before. I'll say that much. I'm hoping it's a little less convoluted than the last Boogie Pop Phantom, and I am hoping that I think it'll have some edge to it. The old Boogie Pop has some edge to it for sure. There was like a lot of drug use in the old Boogie Pop. Definitely people getting murdered. I mean, it should be good. I'm looking forward to it. I just hope it makes more sense than it did before. This is one of the more like highly tagged shows this season. Like a lot of people have marked it as being something they want to watch, which I'm happy about, despite it being an older property. So Boogie Pop Phantom and Others is the title. The other titles for it are Boogie Pop Never Laughs, which is like the worst title ever. And
Kind of like, what was it? Tadaku Never Falls in Love.
A whole bunch of never
Boogie
series
Pop
coming out.
never laughs.
like, why can't you just call it Boogie Pop Phantom? Like, hello. This is so stupid. People really frustrate me. All right, so yeah, and then Kazuo got his number one pick as well, and I think this is the third highest anticipated anime of the season.
Yeah.
Which is
for better or worse, my guy.
Which is Shield Hero, the rising of the Shield Hero, Tate no Yusha no Nariagari. So,
I was really surprised he wanted this at number one. I was like, really? You and your love for isekai, I guess. But
I think
because I had it as my number two, only because I know that people. But basically, for me, this season, this season was very slim pickings. I think we can all agree on that about shows we were really, really interested in.
Yeah, pretty slim.
But I wanted this. I wanted this show solely because I knew that many of the people were looking at this show with interest because it has a rep. And the guy that does the music for the show is a guy that I respect as well. So that's not really the only reason. I know, and Mandy knows the story more than I do for sure, but I know I would probably not enjoy it as much as well.
Yeah, so I read the first volume of the manga. I'll admit that I have not read the rest of it. But it's being adapted by Kinema Citrus, who did Made in Abyss and Barakamon, and so yeah, they've done some really decent things. I'm trying to look through the rest of their stuff. I also see stuff like Black Bullet, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll take my words back. Codebreaker. What is Codebreaker? Oh god, I hated that one. Okay, anyways. Yeah, and it's being directed by Takao Abo, who did, let's see. I don't see him as a director on, he directed Nor 9.
Oh my god. Jesus.
He directed Tate no, oh nope, that's what we're looking at right now. Japanese name. Yeah, that's the only thing he's directed. Everything else is storyboard and key animation. So that's the only thing he's directed. I read the first volume, and it is about a boy named Naofumi, who is maybe not a boy. I guess he is her, but he gets sucked into a fantasy world. Kind of reminded me a little bit of how Fushigi did it, where he was kind of like reading a book at the time, and he was summoned into another world where all of these other people were summoned to the world, and they each have a different weapon, and they're supposed to be a different hero for each weapon. Like there's the spear hero, the bow hero, and the sword hero, and he is the shield hero.
Robin Hood,
so they're supposed
Captain
to...
America, Sir Lancelot, and King Arthur, and don't forget Joan of Arc. She'll have to be.
Don't forget her. Don't forget her.
Joan of Arc is in more anime than friggin' Nobunaga.
She's awesome though. So
he gets sucked into this world, and they're supposed to assemble a team, and they're supposed to defeat, prepare themselves to defend the world from this big wave of calamity.
From devastation.
And so when all of these adventurers go to flock to the heroes and choose who they want to team up with, nobody wants to team up with the shield hero because they're like, that's lame. You got a freaking shield. We're gonna go with the sword guy. So he is already kind of a loner, and one girl comes up to him and says, I'll team up with you, and ends up that she was using him, and she steals his money and frames him for rape. And so now nobody wants to team up with him. And he's bitter, he hates women, and decides, if no one will team up with me, I'm going to go to the slave market and purchase a little girl slave to fight for me. It's problematic.
Wow, interesting.
It got some
I've only
issues.
read one book, so
I hate all women.
Really popular. So I don't know. It has a really long light novel that was also really popular. So maybe it gets better. I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah. I do want to mention, because I did mention the soundtrack person. I took a second to look his name up. It's Kevin Penkin. Penkin, just for reference, did the OST for Made in Abyss.
Yeah.
And he's done, if you guys haven't played the mobile iPhone game Florence, it's a really quick 40-minute game. It's beautiful. It costs $3. He did the music for that too, and this guy knows how to get emotion out. So that's he's one of the biggest reasons why I wanted this show, just to see what he does on this. But as Mandy pointed to all those other things she said, I'm kind of glad I don't have it. But we'll see what happens. Am I next?
It's weird because the little girl in the manga is so young looking, but in the PV, I guess it maybe progresses over time. She looks much older in the PV, so I don't know.
Maybe they made that. Maybe they made that change because they were like, maybe we can get away with it in manga, but not in this. But whatever.
Yeah.
We'll see. All right, I'm up, and this is my last pick, which is my number one, which was my number one. It's Mob Psycho 100 Season 2. I don't like picking sequels usually, but Mob Psycho 100 is the shit. I was tight that I couldn't see the premiere. They showed the episode 1 at Anime I Want to See, right?
No, I didn't watch it, but yeah.
I think it was around the time we were doing something.
Right, yeah, we definitely were doing a thing. So I know I missed it myself. So I missed that, which I was upset about. But I love the first season. There's not much to say here. Mob Psycho 100 Season 2. Yeah. I'll read the synopsis. The synopsis is literally the second season of Mob Psycho 100. Thank you, my anime list.
You're welcome.
You can go read the synopsis read the synopsis from the first season.
Uh, um,
That's what
uh,
That's what I normally do.
nah.
No, all right.
The
It's
thi-
the season. It's the
this,
sequel to Mob Psycho.
this is yeah. There's not much to say. Mob Psycho 100 is an amazing show. The characters are really interesting. The art style is super interesting. When the show pops off, it really pops off. Literally, like it just pops off. So I'm stoked to have the show. I cannot wait to get into it once we get into impression time.
Yeah,
Okay.
Mob Psycho's about an 8th grader named Mob or Mabu,
Mabu,
who is his psychic
A
powers,
very
and
powerful
he
psychic.
has a lot of trouble controlling them. So when his emotions get to 100, he explodes.
He pops the
and,
fuck
yeah.
off.
So I don't know anything else beyond season 1, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited. It's by the person who did One Punch Man 1.
Yes.
So it has more of the art style of the original like one manga of One Punch Man.
Yeah, this anime this anime isn't afraid to like lose some refinement. It gets weird. So good shit. Good shit.
Yeah, I'm really excited. This was my most anticipated anime overall. I originally had it as number 1 and everybody wanted it. I don't want to trust myself with these roles. Good thing I didn't. So I changed it. So yeah, my last pick is Kaguya-sama Love is War.
Which is
And
awesome.
I originally had this down very low on my list, but then I was like, I'm going to check out the manga for this because I usually check out source material. And I sped through the first 2 volumes because I thought it was so funny.
It's a good premise, dude.
Yeah, so Kaguya-sama Love is War is being adapted by A1 Pictures and is being directed by Shinichi Omata, who did actually Dakugo Shinju and Record of Grand Crest War. But so yeah, I started the manga a few days ago and sped through the first 2 volumes, and it just felt like something new for the romantic comedy genre. It's got this boy named Shirogane and this girl Kaguya, and they're both extremely rich, and they're attending this very prestigious high school, and they both are just filled with too much pride in themselves.
Yeah.
And they're both in love with each other, and they know they love each other, but they're filled with too much pride to ask the other person out. So it becomes this battle of wits to try and coerce the other person into admitting their affection first. Because in both their minds, confessing your emotions is a sign of weakness. And that person has like a power over the other person in the relationship. It's really silly. It's really ridiculous. So
I love it. That sounds
instead
awesome.
of getting like the whole will they won't they kind of feeling, it's kind of okay, who is going to break down first?
Yeah.
And some of the mind games had a lot of thought put into them, and then some of them are so ridiculous. I always call it like the Death Note of romantic comedies, because like for example, one of the first situations involves a girl, the girl Kaguya. Another girl in our class gives her a pair of movie tickets, and she can't just straight up ask Shirogane to go to the movie because that would be admitting defeat. So instead, she places them on a table and they start playing. She challenges him to a game of Old Maid, and then the whole game is this mind game that persists through the game, like trying to figure out what the other one is up to, and like her goal is to purposefully lose. So then she hopes that he'll. Her request at the end would be for her to ask him to go to the movie, or for him to ask her to go to the movie. There's a lot of in depth to it. I don't want to spoil how it turns out, but it's really silly.
Yeah. This premise is a good example of like there's plenty of originality left out there that a lot of like people don't tap into. Like, yeah, let's do the good old love story, but how about they already know they're in love, and how about they don't want to admit it to each other even though they already know? How about that? How about that? You know
It's so much fun. I had a lot of I've really enjoyed it so far. Some chapters have a little bit more thought put into them than others, and I think it has a little bit more weight to it than something like Takagi-san, which had a kind of a similar premise, a little bit
with the pranking and stuff.
Yeah,
that one was more like that one's I see what you're saying.
I don't know how it's going to translate into anime because I feel like a lot of the chapters were laid out in a way that worked very well from manga. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited about it. I don't know if it's going to be a great adaptation, but I'm really enjoying the manga so far.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to do like I feel like this show could work. It's like a good in between of Takagi of what was that anime you just referenced? Takagi-kun?
Takagi-san.
Yeah,
Skill.
that one and Gamers. Like it's like right in the middle. Because I think what Gamers did well is like internal monologuing to then go into action. I think they did that. That anime does that well. So they bring that to this, and like you know what I mean. Like as like they're trying to trick each other, you kind of get their monologue in their head as to what's happening. I feel like it could work that way. But we'll see. I'm excited. I'm glad you did this and took this one for yourself. Like it's a good one. Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that somebody got it. I was like, after reading the manga, I was like, oh, I got to move this up higher on my list.
I had it. I had it at number 7, and I was definitely going to get it had you not moved it because I knew I wasn't going to get Boogie Pop or Monaria or whatever the fuck. Yeah. But I'm glad you got it though. Good hands. Good hands.
So what do you guys think will be the best anime of the season other than Mob Psycho 100?
Oh, I was gonna say Mob Psycho.
Yeah.
I think Promise Neverland.
Interesting. The thing is like Mandy, that's what my brain says, but like my brain is also saying that we have to think about the community at large, and like I know it's gonna be like Shield Hero. I know.
I don't know. Promise Neverland is really popping off the manga.
For the sake of picking a show that isn't one of those two, I'm gonna say Revisions. I think it looked really interesting. Ironically enough, all 3 are Kazuos. So we will have to see. But we've covered pretty much every majorly anticipated anime from the season, other than like Date A Live Season 3, which whatever. So people will watch that, but I don't think any of us have really been following that series. So, yeah. So we're gonna start doing impressions, or I think I have it on the website as Sunday the 27th. I think it sounds about right when impressions will begin. So look out for that. And then we'll start it then, and we'll see what happens. Yeah. So why don't we head to the news break so we can have enough time to talk about how not to summon a demon lord. So who wants to read the intro trivia question when we go out to the news break?
I could do it. So our in-show weekly trivia question, which we will answer after the break, is in the anime How to Not Summon a Demon Lord, what level is the main character Diablo? And we will answer it after the break.
Hey all you anime fans, it's good to see you back at the news, and it's time for your second round. First off, we had a poll in Japan that was being done to determine the fans' favorite animation of the year for 2018. The Tokyo Anime Festival 2019 held this poll, and it looks like the pre-polling had shown that A Place Further Than the Universe would be winning the poll. However, in the final late stages of the voting, it looks like Banana Fish actually pulled away as the top fan-voted anime of last year. The top 5 total were Zombieland Saga, Laid Back Camp, Cells at Work, A Place Further Than the Universe, and of course the top, Banana Fish. So if you're interested in the more results of this poll for television anime, you can go check it out on their website, and there's a top 20 list that you can go through. So most of the really great anime for 2018 are on this list, and again, that's from the Tokyo Anime Award Festival 2019. Next up, it looks like Comic Market 95 has been in full swing, and it has again attracted a ton of people to their attendance list. About 170,000 people attended the first day of the event, which was on Saturday, December 29th. The attendance is a little bit down from prior years. For example, in 2019, they had 180,000 attendees, which is only, about 5% lower. But still, an overwhelming number of people coming to attend Comic-Ket, which probably still remains the #1 nerdy convention in the world with a total weekend attendance of well over 500,000 people. So, if you're ever in Japan and have an opportunity to go to Comic-Ket, I recommend doing it at least once. It's definitely an interesting experience. Next up, Hayao Miyazaki's manga Saihin Zensen is getting a stage play adaptation, which is very exciting. The play will run at 6 theaters, including the Art Tower Mito ACM Theater in Ibaraki and the Setagaya Public Theater in Tokyo from the end of August into October 2019. So it's going to have a very long run. Seiyo Uchino will star as the captain of a fishing vessel called Kiss Homaru, While facing the harsh ocean conditions on the front line, the captain opposes military elite personnel and strives to bring his fellow fishermen back to the home port where their families are waiting for them to return. Very interesting story. Seems a little Miyazaki-like, but if you're ever in Japan during next year's fall season, you can go check out this play live in Tokyo. Next up, Dragon Ball Super's Broly film, the new one, has now become the fastest Dragon Ball film to reach the 2 billion yen mark of sales. It had 2 billion yen come out in sales already for tickets, which is about $18.1 million. They sold 1.5 million total movie tickets for the film. The film opened in Japan on December 14th, and it has sold, as I said, a lot of tickets since then, making it very popular. Doesn't seem like Dragon Ball's popularity has waned a whole lot, even though it's such an old property. I'm sure it's going to be coming to the United States before long, as well as other Western countries, and you can probably expect more Dragon Ball Super coming out in the future, considering that it just continues to be a powerhouse in the anime industry. This was Mitsuki, and this was your anime news break. Now, as you expect, it's time to get back to the Anime Podcast.
After a tough day at work, I just want to veg out on the internet. I wonder what kind of weird hentai goods JList.com has on sale.
Kazuo, what are you looking at?
Oh, well, this is embarrassing. It was JList.com.
What was that? Go back to it.
Oh, that was an anime boob mouse pad.
Really? Has it come to that, Kazuo?
Hell no, man. I'm keeping it real. But JList keeps it real, too. Real perverted. They've got hyper-realistic boob mouse pads, sexy pillows, naughty calendars and anime figures, and an array of Tenga products.
Did somebody say Tenga?
Good God. Where'd you come from?
That's right, my bald, mid-30-something anime grumpy pants man.
Damn, I love Tenga.
Has it come to that, Mitz?
Hell no, Enzo. I just love to feel the embrace of a Tenga egg when I stretch it over...
Whoa. Okay, now.
Over my bald head.
I think that's even weirder.
Head over to JList.com and get yourself set up with some of the finest Japanese adult products.
And now, great moments in Anime Addicts Anonymous history.
Do they make reverse kotatsus? A kotatsu that is cooling instead of heating. Just be like, I'm just gonna sit underneath here and chill my balls. You know?
That's called a refrigerator.
Oh, yeah. I don't
It's
know.
called a refrigerator.
Putting my balls in your refrigerator.
Just open your refrigerator, stick your leg up on like the countertop with your balls just like hanging free.
One day you're gonna walk into your kitchen and you're just gonna see my bare ass sticking out of your fridge.
Your 14-year-old daughter comes home with her friend from school, and Dad is just sitting in the kitchen with his hairy ass and his balls hanging down in front of the fridge. Like, Dad, not again!
No, he's sitting on the floor in the living room and he's brought the fridge with him and he's like laid it down on top of his body.
Just chilling
Come,
himself.
let's sit around the reverse kotatsu together, children.
Oh, Lord's in heaven.
That would be amazing.
Can there be a father-son edition where the
Yeah.
son is on a platform?
That's the advertisement.
And he's cooling his balls too
Yeah.
on in the freezer.
Right. Yes, exactly. And then you have the kid standing underneath.
So the dad's balls are hanging on top of the little kid.
They're not touching them.
It's kind of like an intimate tea bag.
Yeah, he's going under the bridge.
And now, back to the podcast.
You're coming
Hello.
back into Chopin's Magnificent Nocturne No. 1, which I just finished memorizing.
Oh,
Thanks.
congratulations.
Thank you. It's my third Chopin Nocturne. It's lovely. And it featured in Isao Takahata's My Neighbor the Yamadas.
Whoa,
Very
look at
prominently,
that.
I might add. So, the intro trivia question. In the anime, How to Not Summon a Demon Lord, what level is the main character Diablo? And the answer is...
150.
150.
150.
Baby. Okay.
Man, that MMO's been around for a while.
Yeah, yo, he is grinding.
Warcraft is getting up there, though.
Dude, Warcraft's gonna cross into that territory, and I feel like people are gonna be like, "Yo, we spent a lot of time on this game, didn't we?"
If people are not at that level already.
Whoops.
Whoa.
All right, ready for the 5-star review?
Of course. I can read it.
iTunes review.
If you want to leave us a 5-star review, you can do it on iTunes. Last week I said I wanted to get the 500 before New Year's, and Enzo would come down here and podcast with us live. Well, we are way short of that goal, so everybody you got to step it up a bit. I mean, it helped. We moved closer, and I appreciate the love, but we got to get a little closer to get to the 500. But of course, if you want to leave reviews on Spotify, Google Play, and everywhere else you can find us, then I would also appreciate that very much and love you forever. Enzo, would you like to read the 5-star review?
Definitely. So this 5-star review comes from Gmatics, and the subject is 5 stars, favorite podcast, period. And they say, not only is this the best anime podcast by far, but it is my favorite overall podcast of all time. All of the hosts are a delight to listen to, and I love hearing their banter back and forth. It truly feels like you're hanging out with some friends just talking about some anime and manga and Japanese culture. I've told numerous people about this podcast, and I hope they feel the same way as me. I was sad to hear the hate on Darling in the Franxx, but I still love you guys. Keep making my commutes much more enjoyable and tolerable. Well, dude, that's what we're here to do. Actually, that's something that like all 4 of us kind of strive to do, is present the podcast in a way where it's very conversational and not, I don't know, welcoming to people that are listening. We do want you to feel like you're hanging out with us, because we would like nothing more than hang out with you, man. So thanks for the review. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Somewhere I have a drop of UDA saying thank you. I really got to find it. I got to find that drop. Yeah, so thank you for leaving your 5-star review. We do always appreciate it. And if you want to leave
and also thank you for the word of mouth. Like that goes a super long way with podcasts, man. So everyone listening, if you got anime friends that kind of have an interest in podcasts in general, shoot a link over, man. Let them know. Let them know it exists.
If everybody listening could just tell one friend that we podcast and that they should check us out, man, that would help like tremendously.
That'd
just
be
one
pretty dope.
person. That would be dope.
Yeah, we're gonna take over in 2019, boys, but we can need some help. Let's do it.
We always can use help from our wonderful fans.
Absolutely.
So we're about to do a 5-star review, or a review on how to not summon a demon lord.
A 5-star review.
Man.
How to not summon a demon lord is a listener choice pick from I don't remember what season, the summer I think. So
I think so.
So here it is. We're doing the 5-star review that you've selected. Mostly, this was an impression that Kazuo failed, but he hated it so much that I think that the fans brought it back just to spite Kazuo. And so here it is, and of course,
And that's why he's not here.
Of course.
I'm just kidding.
He ran away. He ran away in the face of a challenge.
Uh-huh.
So, How to Not Summon a Demon Lord is an ecchi harem isekai about a boy named Sakamoto Takuma who plays a character in a game called Cross Reverie. It's an MMORPG, and he plays a character called the Demon Lord Diablo. And he has ridiculous strength. He's a shut-in in real life, and he plays this game a lot. He's done research on it, has done tons of PvP, etc., etc. And so when he gets summoned to a world by two girls, an elf girl and a cat girl. I can't remember their names. The elf girl's name is Shayna, I think, and the cat girl's name is
Shara.
Shara and Rem, maybe?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Shara and Rem summon him, but he's so powerful that they can't actually control him, and he has a ring of reflection on him that reflects their magic back on them, and they end up being his servants instead of the other way around. And they immediately get very naughty, like collars on them, like they're his slaves. And this is very important to note. Shara, the elf girl, is very large-breasted. They will let you know that all the time.
Every frame of the show?
Yeah, like at least every couple minutes, there's like some very gratuitous shot of her titties hanging down or something.
Flappage.
The Rem is, of course, the opposite. She has nothing to speak of at all. Zero.
She got some.
Apparently, she has ribs.
She has ribs.
Oh my god, yes, that was so ridiculous when you did that.
So it's the typical big-breasted girl or flat-chested girl. Whatever. So unfortunately, I feel like the big-breasted girl is going to win that debate 99 times out of 100. But you know, and Japan is obsessed with big tits because Asian women don't have big breasts generally. They just don't. So they're like obsessed. They don't. I mean, I live there. These are observations from a man living in a country for multiple years. Japanese women are thin generally, and they obviously don't naturally put on a lot of fat. It's not their body type, and that includes boobs. So it is what it is. Sorry. So they love their boobies, and I'll tell you right now, Shara, the elf girl, is really damn hot in this anime. Like,
Yeah.
she is.
Yeah. Can't deny it. She's hot.
is what she's about as hot to me as a character will ever get, and I really wish this was a hentai. I'll just say that. I'm just gonna throw that out there. And I watched the uncensored version of this, and it almost is a hentai a couple times, but
Yeah,
I'm not quite.
It's definitely almost there.
Anybody else want to take over?
So yeah, the studio is Ajia Do. I don't know what else they have done. But the director was Yuta Murano, who directed Brave Beats. I don't know what that is either. But so what were all of our expectations going in? Do you want me to go first?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I went into this knowing that it was an ecchi fantasy story. I already knew the basic gist of the story from just people talking online. I was kind of interested in it because I was hoping that the comedy would be on point. And I liked some of the character designs. I thought Diablo and Shara were both very attractive characters. And so I was hoping that, that it being a fantasy isekai ecchi story, that it'd have a lot of sexy scenes that would progress them to, and, you know, progress in naughtiness and just do something new with the genre. That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah, well, my expectations were, you know, in a similar vein to Mandy's. I am not a fan of the ecchi genre. I just can't do it. Like, it's not. I just can't do it. Like, I don't like it. It's bad. I think it's problematic to me. But knowing it's an ecchi fantasy, I know how to temper my expectations to not like watch it with like a hateful lens. So I knew there was gonna be a whole lot of boob shots, especially when I saw Shara's character design. I was like, wait, well, I know I'm gonna see this girl naked a million times probably. I expected the love triangle. Based on the character cast list and synopsis. So my expectations were thinking that maybe because the title of the anime is interesting to me. So I was expecting some good comedy, and some type of a story to get us through all the ecchi moments.
Cool.
As far as I'm concerned, I watched episode 1 and part of episode 2 before Kazuo did his impression. So I expected it to look pretty good. Like before I watched it, you know, this past week, I was thinking, well, you know, I recalled it looking pretty nice. Like I liked the character designs of it pretty good, pretty well, I should say. But I knew it was going to be intensely ecchi. You know, not only had I seen the scene in episode 1 where he basically makes the cat girl orgasm by sucking on her ears, without even knowing what he was doing, I guess. Because he's as clueless as ever, right?
Yeah, he's an otaku.
It doesn't. We'll get into it more, but that is like a zero reason, I would say. So I expected it to be really ecchi for that reason, and also because I just heard people talking about it, and they were like, "Wow, well, if you think that's bad, you got to watch the uncensored version." And so I made sure I watched the uncensored one, and so I expected a fantasy ecchi comedy with some action, and you know, that's what I expected. I think that's pretty much what I got too. I mean, I think that's pretty much. I mean, it's exactly what I thought it was.
Right.
Exactly what I thought it was going to be. 100%.
Yeah. Right. So then, given that, what's our spoiler-free recommendation? I think fans of the ecchi genre, that don't, you know, that can put themselves past the problematic nature of the genre, won't actually hate this anime. They might even like it. It's kind of charming. So if you're okay with the genre, you watch it. Honestly, I think you should watch it.
I would say if you like ecchi, if you like comedy, if you like fantasy, you have to like all of those. You definitely have to like ecchi to like the show, period. It doesn't matter if you like fantasy. It doesn't matter if you like comedy. It doesn't matter if you like harems or isekai. If you like any of those things, you must like ecchi also to like the show, because there's too much of it to get past like, if you're like, oh, I love fantasy, so I'll watch this fantasy story. Great, I'm happy you like fantasy, but unless you like ecchi, you'll hate it.
Yeah,
that's just what it is. So you can't be against that. So definitely you must like ecchi. And if you like ecchi, I think that you can stop there. Like, I think if you like ecchi, this is a great show for you. You'll love it. I think it's that cut and dry.
I think for me, I think ecchi works best when it really focuses on the comedy and the fun factors of the show. I really, like, just to give a quick example, I really enjoyed Konosuba a lot because they focused on the self-aware comedy and parodied the isekai genre. And where, like, Monster Musume and Prison School were very enjoyable for me because I felt like they focused on the ecchi scenes being the main source of the comedy, and they kept ramping it up the absurdity of each time to the point where you're like, God, I have to watch the next episode because what could they possibly do next? So I really like it when the series just have fun and never take themselves too seriously. I just felt like in How to Not Summon a Demon Lord, I felt like, I don't know, like there are some moments where the fun factor really failed. The first few episodes for me had a lot of fun moments, and I thought the main characters were adorable, and I thought I was going to end up enjoying it overall, but I feel like it hits a point where the story took more of a serious turn and detracted from the overall experience for me. And I felt like the underlying story was very generic and not strong enough to make me care. And the ecchi comedy kind of slowed to a crawl. So, I don't know. I think if you really, really love ecchi and you're desperate for more and you like fantasy, try it out. If you are looking for something interesting that's new or does something new with the genre, I don't recommend it at all. So, yeah.
Okay, so now at this point, should we move into our spoiler section where we talk more expansively about it?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Spoilers are coming.
Oh my god!
Okay, there's your signal. So
Yeah.
you've been warned. For me, just diving a little deeper into it, I thought that I'm not easily offended by mostly anything in my life. I'm not a guy that really looks at things and, like, I recognize them as things that other people will be offended by, but I don't really particularly feel offended. This anime has a number of things in it that I think will piss people off. And
Oh, yeah.
I don't really care. Like, it is what it is. Japan doesn't care. Like, I know that. Like, Japanese people don't care. Like, they don't care that you're offended by misogyny. They don't care that you're offended by, like, borderline sexual assault. They just don't. So, like, you can, like, we're going to complain. People will complain about it, but, like, Japan doesn't care. But this anime is the uncensored version, specifically. I haven't seen the uncensored version, so I actually don't know what is and isn't part of the uncensored version. There are scenes in the anime, and we're going to talk about the story more, but I just want to put this out there up front. There are scenes in the anime that feature girls being basically forced into positions that they don't really want to be in, but they have to be in, and it's not the guy doing that to them. It's more the storyline doing it to them. But because the guy in the show he's pretty innocent, like, overall. Yeah. Like, he's kind of, he actually cares about the girls a lot.
He's like like, for in context, like, a respectful dude.
Yeah, he's actually
except
like
for the beginning where he forces Rem down.
Right, except for that part. But aside from that, he's not the worst he could have been for this show, you know?
Yeah, he's not bad, but, like, there are scenes, like, there's a scene at the end. So, like, basically there's two storylines that the show goes through, and I think we can start there. But the storyline of the cat girl, Rem, is that she has a demon lord trapped inside of her body. It's the magic and essence of this demon lord are in her body, and she wants to get the demon lord out of her body and have it defeated so she can live a normal life or whatever. And so she really, and this is very early in the show, basically falls into the harem with Diablo because he's so powerful. He says, I will figure out how to get the demon lord out of you. Oh, and by the way, I am so powerful, I'm probably the only person that can kill it, so I will defeat it and save you, basically. And so she's with him. Well, at the end of the show, there is a scene where, in order to get the demon lord out of her, he must stick his fingers in her vagina, basically. And one of the girl characters, it's a girl that tells him to do that, and he freaks out. He does it because the Rem tells him to. And the girl who says you need to do this makes a shocker finger symbol with her hand, and I was like, whoa, like whoa, you made the shocker symbol. And by the way, super 18 plus. For those of you who don't know what the shock, do I even need to say what that is? I don't know.
I don't think so.
Let's
just Google it, okay? Like Google shocker. Don't do it at work.
Let's not describe it. Yeah.
But like, and so things like that in the show are going to offend people, right? Also, the women in this show are amazingly helpless. They are astonishingly helpless, and there's a lot of like misogyny in that. The whole show is basically about a guy saving girls over and over again, which is, I think, a lot of like what Sword Art is a lot like. So, I don't know. It's a little, people will be offended. I actually enjoyed the show quite a bit. I wasn't offended at all, but I recognize again and again that people will look at this and go, "Oh, big time problems," right? And so that's my upfrontness about the sexual content of it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you in terms of like the show being extremely like it's edgy as hell. It's like edgy as fuck. It really is. Aside from all that, like you're gonna get it's in every single episode. You're gonna have all like that all over the place. I also don't like that they're like, I don't like, just from a character perspective, that every single character in the show is useless except for the Demon Lord. It is such a self fantasy type of show. It's ridiculous. But aside from that, there is story in the show. The main story being like involving Shara and her like responsibility to marry this dude in the elf tribe.
Her brother.
Oh, her brother. Fuck yes. Whatever. Like it's ridiculous. So that story didn't work for me. It was very very thin. The whole Rem thing with the demon inside her, I found that super thin too. The way that all plays out, especially the Rem thing, whack. Kind of whack.
Very intense.
And the way that basically there's no stakes because Demon Lord just wrecks everything in one hit. It doesn't, like, there's nothing to worry about ever. The show just uses its setting and story, quote unquote, storylines to facilitate ecchi scenes. That's how I feel about it.
I actually really enjoyed the beginning of it because ecchi works best when everybody is having fun. And Shara was so into this whole situation. She was such a massive flirt. She
definitely was.
Definitely fell for Diablo super quickly. It was like, I just want to have fun. And up until her arc with her brother, I don't know. I really enjoyed the beginning of it. Even Rem was, Rem was a little bit of the shy kind of trope, but even she was still having fun with it. But it was up until the point where Shara's rapist brother uses mind controlling to try and force her into having sex with him. That I was like, okay, you need to tone down the creepiness because no one's having fun with this anymore.
Yeah, so
I don't feel like the story was strong enough to make that scene like meaningful at all.
I mean, Shara's the anime only has two storylines. One of them is get the Demon Lord out of the cat girl and save her.
Yeah.
The other storyline is much lighter, and it's the elf girl story. And her story basically is, I want to not be a princess and go like have adventures and live my life. Basically, the cliche princess story, right? And her whole conflict, and it is a legitimate conflict, by the way, is about the elf kingdom trying to get her to go back to her kingdom. The reason doesn't really matter. It's a legitimate conflict. It's just not, it's not the most clever thing in the world. But basically, her brother wants her to go back as he wants to marry her, which is all super weird. But in doing so, yeah, like he puts a slime monster on her. He chains her up in his tent and puts a slime monster on her that eats clothing, which of course the slime monster would immediately take the form of tentacles, which like wrap her all around her body. And I was like,
And it only eats clothing.
I was like, oh, well, there. I was like, you know what? Do you want to know exactly
There it
what?
is.
Yeah, you want to know exactly what I thought when that happened?
What's that?
There it is.
Oh, there it is.
Precisely. I was like, well, I knew there'd be a tentacle in here somewhere. But you know, there's some weird stuff that happens in this show. I really think, though. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Like, people, I'm gonna sort of defend the show a little bit. Not because I think that the sexual content of the show isn't at times inappropriate, but because I'm really surprised if a person who's offended by this kind of thing even gets past episode 1. Like, if you watch episode 1, watch him push the cat girl down into a bed, and like, albeit it's anime, so like rubbing her ears was enough, you know, like rubbing her cat ears because they were furry. He rubbed her cat ears because they were furry, and he liked it. And then he like smelled them or something, and then he like chewed on the tip of one of them. That was what he did to her. But like, the point is that like, if you're a person who's super offended by this type of stuff, and you got through that episode and watched the show all the way to like episode 9 where the tentacle thing happens, then like, I mean, I don't understand why you're still watching it. You know, it only escalates. So like, I'm not really sure why you stuck with it at that point. Like, you know what I mean?
Are you asking me?
No, I'm asking you, like, why a person?
Because I had to.
No, not you specifically. I'm just saying, like, if you're a person,
I see.
if you're a
Okay.
person who's
I
mad
thought
offended,
you were talking to me. I was like, well, you know why I had to watch it. What do you mean?
I had to.
it's almost like taking your kids to a movie theater and knowing that you're getting ready to watch like Die Hard, where he's like blowing people away and killing everybody. You're super.
Oh, the Christmas movie?
Yeah, the Christmas movie Die Hard. You know,
Yeah.
starring Bruce
Yeah.
Willis. And you're
Yeah, of
like,
course.
you're super offended by guns, and you see him shooting people with guns in the first 5 minutes, and then you stick through the whole movie and then bitch about it. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, just walk out of the movie. Like, it's not for you. It isn't. I get it. It's offensive. It's not for you though. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. It's like people like that are. I that's why I don't think you're I don't think you're gonna get a lot
right now.
Well, I just, if there is a person who's actually offended by this anime and outwardly speaks about it, then speaking to that person, I haven't heard anybody complain about this anime, and it's probably because they didn't get that far in it. You know, like they didn't get to the point where they were eating clothing off girls with tentacle slimes, because you would have to have had literally sat through 2.5 hours of that to get to that point.
Right, but we have
that's
to
what
review it.
No. That's
So that's why I'm bringing it up.
No, and you should. And I already did sort of. I'm just saying that, like, speaking to the people that like that potentially are offended, like, I just think that it's best for you as a person, speaking to those people, that if you just put the anime down and go watch something different. Does that make sense? Am I just speaking?
Yeah, no, that
nonsense?
makes sense. I just kind of don't understand how that's a defense of the show.
No,
yeah.
It's not a defense of the show. Like, the show, it is what it is. I'm just saying that to the people that get offended by stuff, just don't watch it. Go watch something different. Because Japan doesn't care, and you're gonna bitch, and they're not gonna care or listen. So you're just.
I mean, that's fine.
You're just tormenting yourself as a person. Just don't torment yourself.
I agree. Yeah, we that's kind of what we said when we were like, if you
know
like
what I mean?
ecchi, if you don't like ecchi, just don't.
Yeah, just don't do it.
It's pure ecchi.
I still think there's good ecchi and bad ecchi, and I think this was bad ecchi.
Yeah, this is definitely like ecchi levels times
Maybe
1000.
borderline ecchi.
I
still think like Monster Musume was amazing because everybody was having fun with it. They all loved it. Like everything that was going on. Like in Prison School, even like these girls beat the shit out of these guys, but they love it.
I see, like this example, like Prison School is a perfect example. Like someone like me loves Prison School.
I love Prison
that shit
School.
is awesome.
It's great.
And
there's shit in that you will never see in another ecchi.
That shit is awesome. But yeah, so characters, to me, there's not much to say. I think every single character is weak, except for like Diablo's interesting because he has a dual personality the whole time, where he's himself and he's acting as Diablo the whole time. And he's like not a complete shitbag even when thrusted into all these situations. So That's really all I gotta say for characters.
I agree. And actually, like the characters are the only place where I felt any twinge of like being offended, and I think it's actually more of a problem that the girls in the show are so weak compared to Diablo. I don't really think, like, I get it, it's ecchi, right? And I understand that the majority of the audience for an anime show like this is going to be males. So like, yeah, I get it. Like, of course, it's just going to be full of boobs and stuff, right? But the characters themselves being super weak didn't actually need to happen. You know, he could have had his harem and had them all not be as like pathetically weak as they were. A harem doesn't require them to all be weaklings. Like Utawai de Dumono, if you recall that show, that's a harem show. Like there's Rock Shine or whatever. He's got like 12 girls with him. Some of those girls would whoop the shit out of most characters in anime. Like they are badasses. Like one of them rides a white tiger. One of them has like amazing like monk punching skills. Like they're badasses. In this show, they just the women, even the tough women by the end of the show, kind of crumble and just like dissolve into like puddles before him. And it's very like it's a little more offensive to me than the actual sexual content, you know. So I don't know. The characters are super weak. The only character in the show that had anything was Diablo himself. And only for moments, because he was, you know, he had moments of like self-awareness, like, you know, I can't communicate properly, or this isn't who I really am, but I'm never going to be able to be more than my fake persona of a character because he's like a shut-in or whatever. That was the only thing that like even approached any kind of like character depth. But then he just kind of slips back into, I'm the demon lord, and then it was kind of funny again. You know,
I actually really like comedy. Diablo a lot.
I like it too.
Really funny.
Fine.
I liked his inner monologues, and I thought it was really funny. Like you were saying before, like you're so used to role playing this demonic character, so like his communication skills are way low. And I like all the scenes where he's like, "Man, my communication skill is so low. How am I going to ask them for help without accidentally like demanding it?"
Yeah, there was a scene where he was like, when they were talking to a powerful like military leader, and he says he needs to ask him for help politely or something, and he's saying that in his head, like, I need to be good at communicating here, I need to be polite. And then what he says is something like, if you don't help us, I'm going to burn you and your kingdom to ashes, or something like that. And he says, I fucked it up, basically.
Yeah. Another scene that I loved with him was when he was talking to somebody about his horn. Like he was mentioning to himself his horn headgear. He's like, "Oh, they don't realize this is just the headgear I chose for my character." And he had like this like thought of popping the headgear off. The little guy is like, "Oh," it's just, I don't know, like got me. I was laughing out loud.
How do you guys feel about the art and animation in the show?
It's actually not completely. It's standard. It's like standard leading towards good. Yeah. It's really not bad. Like animation wise, it's there. It's a show. It's an anime. It exists. It's not shit. You know. So it's good. It's good. And it has the color tones of like. It's basically like 2 levels under Konosuba animation. Kind of.
Yeah. I really love the character designs. I thought they all looked very unique from each other.
Yeah, I agree.
Even
I thought Diablo looked really good too, and yeah, I don't know. The animation is nothing interesting. Like, it's very basic, but I thought the characters looked good outside of the loli girls. I'm like, I'm not really into the loli thing. So
yeah,
Creme kind of bothered me.
The characters look especially good, and I think that they had to be that way because as an ecchi show, they have to be like if you watch hentai, like if you watch a hentai show, which by the way, this show doesn't get there. Like if you're watching the show because you want to have like sex scenes, there's no sex scenes in it. There aren't. There's not even any nudity really. Like there's no nipples or anything like that. So if you're
there's a lot of teasing.
There's a lot of teasing. There's definitely some like pretty erotic boobs hanging down inside of Shara's like loose t-shirt, which I definitely enjoy. But like just being honest, but you know, that's about as far as it goes. Like there's not a lot of that. But
I like the camera scenes where it goes like through her boobs.
Yeah, the boobs are fantastic. She has like porn star boobs.
Oh, the boob physics in this are top tier boob physics for sure.
Sarah was my favorite character in this entire thing. I thought she was fantastic.
She's really cute, and thankfully, is pretty quick to like offer full consent, like in every sexual scene, pretty
Yeah.
much. Like and there's one scene where she is the one doing it. She's like, gotta restore his mana, and she like hops on him and starts grinding her hips into him. That's all her. She's like, it's not him doing it. He's laying there like unconscious practically, and she's the one hopping on him and like initiating. And I'm like, go Shara, you know, like.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is I think ecchi works best when everyone is having fun, and that's why I loved Shara so much.
Yeah.
I thought she was great.
But going back to the hentai thing, like hentai characters and hentai need to be attractive because it's a porn, and you need to have attractive characters because that's just how it is. This is the same thing. Like the characters must be attractive, they must look good because it's an ecchi show that you're fantasizing about. They can't look like crap. They have to look nice, and so they had no choice, and it did. It looked nice. I like the way it looked. I like the way it looked pretty much in every way. It even had some shots of the city from like way above that were comparable to stuff you'd seen like Attack on Titan season 3, with like all the detail of the wall around the city and all the buildings and stuff. Like it was pretty good. Like it looked nice. There was definitely a budget here, I think. Overall, though, the animation was not Attack on Titan season 3, but just that shot of the city. How about the music?
I don't even remember.
I don't remember
anything.
what it sounds like at all.
It was so like forgettable.
Yeah,
I actually
don't
think
know.
I think the credit song was kind of soothing, but I don't remember what it sounds like. I just remember the feeling, and I don't remember anything else about the music whatsoever.
I remember the theme song, the opening theme. That was about it. I thought that the opening theme song was good.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's really all I gotta say. I mean, are we ready to move to like a final one-off scoring conclusion?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Sure.
Basically, I enjoyed this anime. I understand that it's very far from perfect. The story is shallow. The characters, the story lacks like suspense because he's so powerful. The Demon Lord Diablo is so powerful that in pretty much all cases he wins, with the exception of a couple scenes where he is pushed to the limit a little. He wins every fight easily, so there's not much stakes to be had. But it's also kind of enjoyable watching him wipe out an entire army with one magic spell. It looks good. The music's so-so, but overall I like the show. But I recognize that it's at its core, it's amazingly shallow. But it's just doing what it accomplishes. It doesn't leave a lot of loose ends. They pretty much wrap everything up that they put before you. They open up all these doors and they close them all. But like, I know I'm reviewing things based on how much I enjoy the show, and I think I didn't suffer at all watching this. Like sometimes I suffer. I'm like I'm suffering. Like I'm
dying.
I'm dying. I don't like this. I don't want to be watching it, but yet I have to. This was not one of those times. I almost want to just shock people with a score that will make you very surprised. But I found the ending fight with the other Demon Lord to be very disappointing. It was not at all what I wanted. And so I'm going to give it a little lower than I thought, and that is 3 slave collars out of 5.
All right.
Which is literally what he ended up with.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually,
3 slaves at the end.
I want to echo the sentiment that the story was literally non-suspenseful for the fact that Demon Lord just wins. Even when he wins not easily, it's still like there was no moment where I was like, oh my god, is he gonna lose? Like there was not a single ounce of that, and I hate that. I truly don't like that. But then again, the focus of the show is not the focus of the show is not necessarily the Demon Lord. It is everything around him, which is the women, which I also thought though they looked great, they were rather useless and were there solely as like plot devices and vessels for the ecchi scenes, which I don't think is how you is a I don't know. I just don't like that stuff. I've never liked that stuff. This is like what the score I'm going to give it is quite objective in my opinion, because if I let my heart score this, it would straight be like a 1 at most. But when I think about the fact that the focus is ecchi, I think the ecchi is done well, which is something I don't like, but it's done well, and I can't ignore that. The ecchi is done well. The art is not trash. The story does suck. The music is not memorable, and the characters are only Diablo's like cool in my opinion. Mishera is like okay, but then again, everything else about her is like I don't know. So I'm gonna give it 2.5 armor destroying spells. No, I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5 armor destroying spells. Um, yeah, because it does its main thing well, but everything else around that is kind of lacking to get it up to like a high standard show. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm judging it as both an isekai and also an ecchi separately. I think as an ecchi, it's okay. It did have a lot of fun moments, but I also felt like there's a lot of very creepy parts too, which I don't know. I'm everyone has their own different kinks, but I feel like ecchi works best when everyone's having fun with it. As an isekai, the story, like Enzo said, is very barely there, which is fine for an ecchi. I don't think you need a strong story for an ecchi, but on the isekai level, it was very generic. Diablo is just a very basic protagonist. It didn't do anything new with the genre, which I actually was thinking about it. I thought it'd be really interesting if instead, when Diablo was summoned into the world, it's like a level 150 character, if he remained a summon, so that way he had all this power, but he couldn't use it because the girls were commanding him. I thought that would have been a hilarious twist, and I would have enjoyed it a lot more if it was something like that.
That sounds fun.
But unfortunately, that was not it. And I thought I don't know. I didn't enjoy it all that much, but it did have some fun moments. And I do think Shara was adorable. And the characters were very cute. So I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5. A 2 elf boobies out of 5.
Two elf tits.
So I think,
2 big old ones.
So I
which
think,
actually equals out to be a 4 because they're
oh,
cute.
they were
Because they're big.
no. Her elf titties were a 5. They were a 5.
Yeah.
They were a 10 out of 5. Okay, so that rounds up. That's a 2.5 out of 5 for How to Not Summon a Demon Lord. I will say that as far as Shara goes, I don't think I will ever forget her as a character.
I thought she was adorable.
She looks good.
I really wanted to get, based on how much I enjoyed this anime, it was more like a 4 for me. But I don't think I will forget this anime anytime soon. Anyway, moving on. We got some mailbags. We skipped them last week, so we can't do it this time. And here we go.
True.
It's time for an almighty anime mailbag. Anime.
Mailbag. You guys know where to do it on the website, AAAPodcast.com. You can submit mailbags at the mailbag button. You can also submit hentai mailbags, which I would really like you to do, by the way. You can submit topic requests. You can submit Enzo Senpai's Notice Me Corner and Anime Shark Tank submissions. This first mailbag is directed directly at me, and I'm going to read it because it's very long, and I'm going to probably cut it down. Tirisafal writes, I'm just listening to episode 439 that was recently published. Kazuo and Mitsugi hate on isekai anime once again. Ironic, Mitsugi just said based on how much he liked How to Not Summon a Demon Lord, he would have given it a 4. Ooh, spicy. I will say that I personally like isekai anime, meaning that I'm more forgiving than others. You said that it is the main story. You said that it is always the same story, which I don't agree with. They are similar in terms of they are about a person moving to another world. Definition of isekai. Also, you say that there are multiple isekai shows every season. I'm not the most well informed about the new shows, but I try to keep up and listen to your podcast, and still don't see that many of them. And is it that much different than the multiple high school romance shows or sports shows? Those are also present nearly every season. They all share similar themes. Yet you and I think the community at large somehow seems to have a grudge against isekai. Personally, I personally believe that that to be caused by this genre being more popular recently, while the other two I mentioned being popular for a long time, so we have accepted them as part of the landscape now. I'm not going to read any more of it because it's a little more of the same, but I don't hate isekai, and here's some examples. I do appreciate your criticism, and I welcome criticism when you send it in. I think it's a great thing, and I'm more than happy to read it. I would say that I don't dislike isekai shows. I think it's too large of a genre to hate all of it. It just doesn't make sense. Like that's like it's like hating everybody who likes ice cream. I don't know. I liked ReZero. I like Inuyasha. 12 Kingdoms is technically an isekai. Technically.
I would say so.
And it's one of my favorite animes ever. Like, I would fall on the sword for the 12 Kingdoms. So, also, like I said here on my note, I am looking forward to How to Not Summon a Demon Lord, and I rather enjoyed it. And we also just passed How to Be Reincarnated as a Slime. So I don't really think we hate isekai anime all that much, to be honest. I think that's a little overstated.
I don't.
I definitely don't hate them either. The reason when I'm disappointed with isekai, the reason my disappointment falls hard, and this wasn't directed at me. I don't tend to voice hyper negative opinions too much, but isekai set up really large premises, like really big. It's big story, and when big story premise doesn't work, it falls harder. And I feel, and that's just how that feels to me when I watch one that I don't like. For example, the biggest example of Sword Art Online. Sword Art Online was huge on paper.
I don't think that qualifies as an isekai.
Sword Art?
Yeah, it's inside of a video game, but he's like still alive.
Okay.
Like, it's just a VR game.
Okay, I get you. All right, but metaphorically wise, like that's kind of where I'm at. Like, isekais are interesting to me because it's like a different world, and like that's something I love. World building. I've said that before on the podcast. I love it. Like, that is something that I think is super cool. So I get excited for them, and then they don't really work out for me. Currently, Reincarnated as a Slime, I am enjoying every second of that anime because it's doing things right for me. So
I like that one because it's doing something different, where it's like this really powerful character, but instead of trying to defeat somebody, he wants everyone to be friends.
Right, exactly.
All right, guys, next mailbag. We got to go quick.
Alrighty, the next one is from Icy Rose. Hi, AAA hosts. Anime is often used as an advertisement for its source material, whether it is manga, light novel, or video game, and in general, it can work quite well if a season ends on a to be continued note. But has there ever been an anime that wasn't very good, but for some reason still compelled you to seek the source material regardless? For example, Chiaki did a review on Danganronpa anime years ago and only gave it a 2, but said that it got her interested enough in that she wanted to play the game and see what was missing from the anime. Has anything made you feel similar? I check out all source material from almost everything. I wanted to read the manga of Gangsta after that one didn't finish. I saw the very awful Corpse Party anime and wanted to play the game, and I played that. Angels of Death came out, and I tried that one. All my visual novels, because all those anime are terrible. I'm like, well, I gotta check out the visual novel now. So yeah, I always check them out.
I don't really check out source material. I'm the exact opposite, unless I have some very compelling reason. Which, for example, the Junji Ito collection. Like, I feel like I'm the only person that liked that, and I went and sought out the book, and it was fantastic. And by the way, before I forget,
Ice, baby.
There it is.
Enzo, anything to add?
Yeah, I'm just not a manga reader, so like I'm very ignorant in this capacity. It's just not something I usually do. I just tend to like look at anime as its own thing objectively. So sorry, I can't answer this one.
All right, Enzo, next one.
This one comes from Otaku Cop. Greetings, AA crew. Being that I've been introduced to Crest of the Stars by Mitz, it rekindled my space opera love. Robotech was one of the first anime I ever watched, and I put that in my space opera Mount Rushmore. My question is simple. What is your space opera Mount Rushmore, and why? Stay awesome, and thanks for always making my anime addiction worse. So I'll give you one, because I don't want to like think about like my 5, but
4.
Space Battleship Yamato is awesome. And a lot of people, for some reason, aren't fully aware of that show. It is a great space opera. It has some good romance elements. It has a lot of cool sci-fi, and the ship is dope. It's just a ship, but in space. It's sick. I would watch that one.
I don't think I haven't seen enough space operas to really have an opinion here, but some of the great space opera-y shows I've seen, I don't even know if these classify. Banner and Crest of the Stars is on the Mount Rushmore. Probably for most people that have seen it. It's fantastic. That's a space opera for sure. Legend of the Galactic Heroes. I saw the new one. I liked it. I imagine the old one's amazing. That's probably on the Mount Rushmore. Magnetic Rose, probably not a space opera, but it's about it ironically is about a deceased opera singer who owns a haunted space station. So maybe that counts since it's about an opera singer. And I challenge you to find any other anime that is about an opera singer. Also, Stelvia of the Universe I really enjoy, but that's probably not a space opera, but it's still in space mostly, and that's pretty cool. That's all I got. I don't know. I don't think I've seen a lot of this genre.
Same. I have not. I don't have anything. Sorry. All I can say is my Mount Rushmore is just Yangwon, and that's it.
He is handsome. All right,
Yeah,
guys. So I hope you enjoyed our very long episode. I want to find a way to get this podcast back down to 2 hours. We are like continually failing at doing that. I'm not sure how, but we're gonna figure that out.
I think it's the picks. We need to go faster with the picks.
Yeah, the picks took forever. That's fine. So, all right. Well, if you want to help us out, if you want to help us continue to make this podcast great, we're hiring some artists right now, and I'm telling you right now that it's mind-blowingly expensive.
2019, my guy. 2019 was taking over everyone.
It is mind-blowing to get even one image done that's of any quality. So, if you want to help out the podcast, AAAPodcast.com/join. We're here before and after every podcast to make extra content for you guys so that you can enjoy a little more of us. I hope you do enjoy that content. So head over there to the website. You can hit us up on Facebook. You can hit us up on Twitter. But really, you should join the Discord, because the Discord channel is where you're going to be happiest. You're going to be introduced to a huge community of people that you can really make friends with, and it's become a part of my life. The Discord has, so I'm pretty happy about it, and I think all of you would really enjoy it. So the website also has a link to the Discord along the top, so go check that out as well. Anything else?
No. Thanks so much for listening. Happy New Year.
Yes.
End 2018 was something wonderful that you wanted to do. Start 2019 strong, everyone. I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening.
Time for a hentai episode. More boobs and butts than you can shake a stick at.
So much boobs today.
Bye. Bye.